start today's game, we'd like to recognize our men's golf team and women's swimming and diving teams for having the highest fall GPAs in the athletic department. The men's golf team couldn't be here tonight, but they earned a team GPA of 3.56. They are also currently ranked #1 in the country. The women's swimming and diving team had a fall GPA of 3.47. The swimming and diving team leaves next week for their conference championship in Cleveland, Mississippi. Good luck, ladies, and great job to both teams on outstanding academic performances.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and thank you once again for being with us on GoArgos.com/live, the UWF Sports Network. A real treat for you here this evening. It's our Argos against the #2 team in the nation, Tampa, the Spartans, in town for the second game of the Argo Invitational. We're about to kick it off in just about 5 minutes. We got starting lineups for you, and we'll start with the visiting Tampa squad first. They're 4-2 on the season. They'll be led off by the left fielder, Steven Smith. After that, it's going to be the second baseman, Drew Earhart. Third base is Darren Miller. He'll hit third. Then it's the first baseman, Harrison Bragg. The DH is going to be Danny Servin in the 5 spot. After that, it'll be the right fielder, Connor Cryle. The catcher, Chris Gaffney. The center fielder, Nick DeTringo. And finally, the shortstop, Brandon Golly, all in support of David LeBron, one of the most highly regarded hurlers in all of Division II baseball. He is known as a dominant starter, can be very dominant, 1-0 on the season, and he is about to make his third start of the year. His ERA is at 0.87. Skipper's meeting out at the plate right now, exchanging lineup cards. We've given you the Tampa lineup, and now the West Florida lineup. It's Brandon Harmon who's going to lead off. He'll be out in left field. Matthew Estrada in right field. He'll hit second. Then it's the second baseman, Nick Strasser, who hits third. Nick Kirkman, the first baseman, cleans up. Then it's Robert Lopez at third base, hitting fifth. Catcher Matt Sullivan hits sixth. Mike Branch, the DH, hits seventh. The shortstop, Matt Jones, hits eighth. And finally, Mason Dennison out in center field, the sophomore, hits ninth, all in support of Tony Kuchera. Great season so far for Tony K out there on the bump. He's been phenomenal. 1-0 in the record department. He has 2 appearances, both starts already this season. 11 frames, 9 hits, 2 runs, just 1 earned. 10 strikeouts against 1 walk. Last time he pitched, it was last weekend against Rollins. He went 6 in a victory for the Argos. And, boy, Kuchera was just excellent in that ball game. We are going to take a break here. We'll have a moment of silence at Jim Spooner Field to remember the victims of the horrible tragedy down in Parkland, Florida. We will pay our respects here momentarily, and then we will be just a few minutes away from first pitch. Here at the Spoon, it's the Argos and the #2 Tampa Spartans. Stay right with us here on the UWF Sports Network.
We ask that you please join us in a moment of silence in memory of the victims of the shooting this week at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Thank you. And once again, welcome to the Spoon. Please rise for the presentation of colors by the UWF Army ROTC and remain standing until the colors are retired after our national anthem. And now we ask that you kindly remove your hats as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem by Evan Roll from the UWF Pep Band.
Argos taking the field here at Jim Spooner Field on the campus of the University of West Florida. We are almost set to go against the Tampa Spartans, number 2 team in Division II college baseball. Thank you so much for being with us wherever you are tuning in from out there in internet radio and internet television land around the country and perhaps beyond. Should be a great evening of baseball here this evening. Tony K getting warmed up right now for the Argos. Boy, oh boy, has this guy been good this year. And looking forward to seeing what he'll do against a Tampa offense that averages about 6 runs a game. Sullivan's doing the catching for him. Lopez is down at third. Jones at short. Strasser second. Kirkman at first. It's Harmon, Dennison, and Estrada left to right on the outfield grass. We hit 82 degrees here today in Pensacola, and that is the highest ever recorded for February the 16th in the Pensacola area. It's been a great day weather-wise, and now a beautiful, beautiful evening with temperatures in the high 70s as our high lefty, Mr. Kuchera, gets loose. He's got to face off against Smith, Earhart, and Miller. First up for this Tampa squad. A very, very highly regarded program. It almost needs no introduction. The University of Tampa, 7 national championships, 85 MLB draft selections, including 7 last season. They've won 18 Sunshine State Conference championships, the latest of those coming last year. They had a great year, ended up qualifying for the NCAA Regional, but could not advance on to the Elite Eight Final Four College World Series. Argos just about ready to go. Kuchera, last time he pitched, it was right here against Rollins, and he set aside the Tars in spectacular fashion, going 6 frames against Rollins and pitching shutout ball to key up a 5-1 win on February the 9th for the University of West Florida Argos. We stand at 2-4. Tampa, they stand at 4-2, and we are ready to go with Stephen Smith settling in as the first to face off against Tony Kay. Just about 5 minutes past 6 as we get underway. UWF and Tampa. We had the moment of silence before the game for the victims of the Parkland tragedy. And then a very soulful trumpet rendition of the national anthem. Now we are underway with Kuchera firing the first and just missing the bottom of the zone. 1-0. First pitch comes in at 6:04. Tampa, they've won 2 in a row after starting the season 2-2. 70 hits and 35 runs over their first 6 games. Here's a bouncer, hotly done up the middle, knocked down by Tony. He goes to first base. Nice defense. 1-3 on the put away. Stephen Smith is history, and the Argos have the first out of the board.
Now batting the second baseman, number 2, Drew Earhart.
Drew Earhart coming to the plate for the Spartans. Smith, not an easy out. He came into play today hitting .519. Earhart, no easy out either. Not going to find too many of those in this Tampa lineup. .360 average for Earhart. 2 RBIs on the season. This is his 26th at-bat if he makes it official. Kuchera out ahead with a strike. Earhart with 4 runs scored, a double, 2 RBIs on the season, 1 stolen base. Kuchera feeds. And this one is golfed out to right field. Estrada settling under. And Matthew Estrada with the squeeze. 2 quick outs for Kuchera. Nice start for him. Fly 9. Darren Miller, the last chance for this Tampa squad in this opening frame.
Third baseman, number 10, Darren Miller.
Miller off to a scorching start. 9 for 23 with 5 doubles. 7 RBIs. He has struck out 8 times, though. Senior sports number 10 settles into the right side against Kuchera. Against number 16, Georgia College, February 9th through 11th. And Tampa took 2 of 3. And part of their success rested with the guy in the box right now. Final 2 games, both W's in that series for Tampa. Miller went 4 for 7 with 2 runs scored, 2 doubles. Bounces one towards second, getting in front. Strasser, he'll whip it over to Kirkman. Great start for Tony Kay. 1, 2, 3. Goodbye to Tampa in the box. Hello to Tampa out in the field. They'll have LeBron on the mound against our very own Harmon, Estrada, and Strasser. Right after this on the UWF Sports Network. Bottom half one, we're scoreless in Pensacola, Florida. Game 2 of our doubleheader here to open up the Arco Invitational. Game 1 featured Palm Beach Atlantic and Spring Hill. Palm Beach ran away from the Badgers 17-3 in that first game. This afternoon it started at 2 o'clock, wrapped up about an hour ago. And it was Palm Beach pretty much the whole way. They scored 8 runs in the third, and that really broke it open. They won going away. Kent Bottenfield's squad now 5-4 on the season, 1-0 at the Invitational. Remember, we'll have 2 games tomorrow and 2 games on Sunday right here at Jim Spooner Field, broadcasting all the action live on the UWF Sports Network. Here's B.J. Harmon, the first to come up against LeBron. And David LeBron fires. Harmon drops one down. Left side, the bunt is ruled foul. Oh, boy, just by maybe a centimeter. That one picked up more chalk than a first-grade art class before finally skittering just foul by, what, a millimeter, a centimeter? Something less than an inch. Harmon almost took everybody by surprise for an infield single. This guy did hit over 300 for the Argos last year. And batting in a leadoff position here this evening. It'll take some excellent execution against this well-regarded right-hander, sports number 14. David LeBron into his small wind. Fires home, and Harmon swinging away this time. Fouls it off to the left side, well out of play. B.J. Harmon for the season, 2 for 10, a run scored. He's got a double. He's got a couple of RBIs. Reaching base at a 182 clip. Trying to find his way aboard, get us going early. Estrada Strasser, maybe Kirkman to follow as well. LeBron, the 0-2. Harmon swinging and missing. It's loose in the dirt. Gaffney, the catcher, able to vacuum up. He'll go to first. And that's an opening strikeout for a guy who's known to rack up a few of those. 14 strikeouts through 10 1/3 innings coming into play today for the senior LeBron. This is his 3rd start. He's 1-0 on the season. He's walked just 2, now struck out 15. ERA, you need a microscope to see it, but it's not smaller than Tony Kuchera's. 0.87 for LeBron. Kuchera, who had a 1-2-3 top half of the first. Sitting at 0.82. Here's the Pensacola Catholic alum, Matthew Estrada. First baseman Bragg leaving a lot of room toward that line, daring Estrada to pull something toward the bag. Estrada slices one foul back to the screen, third base side. Miller at third, Golly at short. Earhart at second, Bragg at first. And Gaffney behind the plate, left or right in the outfield. It's Smith, DeTringo, and Cryle. 0-1 to Estrada. And he'll let it go through for a strike. All strikes so far from LeBron, known for his excellent control. Estrada hitting $1.76 this season, but his OBP much higher at .364. Last time out for the Arcos, that was at Columbus State on the 13th, Tuesday. Estrada played on the field. He also did some pitching. Sends a weak grounder right side. Finds its way out of the grass. A diving stop by Earhart. He fired it. Took everybody by surprise at first. Not going to get Estrada, though. It's a base hit. Earhart had both the pitcher LeBron and the first baseman Bragg covering there at first. One of them gloved. I couldn't tell who got it there. But that's just academic as Estrada's able to reach. Matthew Estrada did not reach at Columbus State. That snapped a 5-game reach base streak for him, but he started a new one with his first swings here against LeBron, and now it's Nick Strasser trying to do some damage. Strasser went deep at Columbus State on Tuesday. He's got a pair of long balls this season. Estrada's got some speed at first. Would we get him going? Downstairs, Strasser taking for an opening ball. Nick hitting .250 through 6 ball games. 5 hits, 2 of them have been doubles, 2 of them have been home runs. Strasser with a .375 on-base percentage. The versatile senior who's authored a great career here at West Florida, awaiting a 1-0. Strasser going to take downstairs. He checked the swing. But we'll go to 2-0. Argos hitting just .211 as a ball club so far this season. Now that's through just 6 games. Doesn't mean a ton, but bats do need to pick it up. We had a season-high 12 hits at Columbus State on Tuesday. Maybe a sign that things are looking up for this offense. Good news is we've limited opponents to a batting average of just .233. 2-0. Strasser, fly ball, left center, well struck. To the track. Two players collide in left center, Smith and DeTringo. Did one of them come up with it? Yes, indeed they did. Wow. Dangerous looking play. Smith is helped up by DeTringo. I think DeTringo caught it. Fly out to center field off the bat of Strasser, sent it into this Pensacola evening sky and almost came up with extra bases, but DeTringo with the concentration and withstands the blow from Smith. Holds on to make it 2 down in support of LeBron. Good work from DeTringo. You do have to tip your cap to him. Now Kirkman coming up to the plate. And Kirkman is starting to heat up. He had 4 hits on Tuesday against Columbus State after going 0-for in both games against Rollins on the 9th. Kirkman's now hit safely in 3 of the 6 games he's played in. Pardon, 3 of the 6 games is correct that he's played in this season. The first offering to him down in the dirt, handled fairly well by Gaffney. David LeBron started opening day for Tampa. 5-0 win over Bentley. Righty went 5, gave up 2 hits, no runs. He struck out 9, 0 walks. Against Georgia College, Tampa lost the game. LeBron ended up taking a no decision after going 5 1/3, 6 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned. Kept him in it. But Tampa lost 3-2. Moving as Estrada, throw to second. Got him. And that'll end the frame. Caught stealing. Gaffney guns down Estrada at second. He got a base hit with 1 out, but is wiped off the pass. We head on to the second. Argos, Tampa Spartans. We're all tied up 0-0. Back to Jim Spooner Field right after this. Harrison Bragg leads off for the Tampa Spartans. Top half 2, we're all equal 0-0. Argos with the only hit of the ball game, single by Estrada. But he was caught stealing to end the bottom half of the first. Tony Kuchera set aside the Spartans with relative ease. Top half 1, 1-2-3 frame. Now going against Bragg, Servin, and Cryle. Here in the second, swing and a miss by Mr. Bragg. And Kuchera out ahead 0-1. Thanks again for being with us here on the UWF Sports Network. Tomorrow we'll be right back to work here at Jim Spooner Field. A pretty quick turnaround as we continue this Argo Invitational, a great event. We'll have Tampa and Spring Hill tomorrow at 1 p.m. Here's a fly out to right. More work for Estrada. He puts away Bragg, no trouble. Fly 9, second put out of the game for Estrada. And that'll usher up Danny Servin. UWF in action tomorrow against Palm Beach Atlantic. That's going to start at 5 o'clock. And then on Sunday, Palm Beach meets Tampa at 11. That's a.m. 3 p.m. we'll have Spring Hill, UWF and Spring Hill, to close out the Invitational. More information available right here on GoArgos.com. Serving the DH. Bounces one toward third. Lopez plays it well, fires the first, skip. Nice little scoop, though, by Kirkman. Servin showing off a little speed, and Lopez able to get him 5-3 with the help of Nick Kirkman there at first base. That'll send up Cryle. Looking like it might be another 1-2-3 square for Tony Kuchera. Only man standing in his way is Connor Cryle. Right fielder Cryle, the last hope for a Tampa team that's gone 5 up, 5 down so far against Tony K. Cryle from the College of Central Florida as well as North Marion High School. Originally from Anthony, Florida. Lefty-lefty matchup. Kuchera starts him with a strike, skims the outside corner. And Cryle last year played 40 ball games, made 33 starts. All he did was hit .374 with 43 hits, 2 doubles, 3 triples, and a home run. At 6 multi-RBI games, Kuchera dicing him up right now, 0-2. And Kuchera looking for his first strikeout of the ball game. Swept to the right side, foul off the bat of Cryle. He'll avoid the fade for the time being. Kuchera trying to get to 11 strikeouts against just 1 walk and 1 hit by pitch this season. Cryle, who led North Marion to the regional playoffs 3 straight years in high school. Settles back into the left side. And Kuchera deals home. Looking for that outside corner, almost found it. Came in maybe a touch high. Ball and 2 strikes now on number 13. Cryle this season hitting .323, .415 slugging percentage, couple of home runs. Kuchera racks him up. Beautiful pitch on the bottom of the zone. Goodbye, Cryle. And goodbye to the top half of the second. We go to the bottom half. Kirkman, Lopez, Sullivan due up for the University of West Florida Argos, getting a great performance from Tony Kuchera, who's thrown just 13 pitches through 2 frames. We'll be back right after this on the UWF Sports Network. Nick Kirkman returning to the box. He was there when Estrada was thrown out at second base to end the bottom half of the first. Lopez and then Sullivan are going to follow. And Kirkman, the first baseman who had 4 hits up at Columbus State on Tuesday, settling into the right side. LeBron fires his first, and this one is over the outside, half 0-1. 6 up, 6 down so far for Tony Kuchera. Ended the top half of the second with his first strikeout. That was looking against Connor Kreil. He'll face off with 7, 8, and 9 when we head to the top half of the third. We hope that's not for quite a while. And Kirkman fouls back an off-speed pitch, 0-2. And Kirkman in the season opening series against Florida Southern had 3 RBIs while playing in all 3 games against the Mocs. And Kirkman, a 4-year starter here at UWF, checks the swing, and he is going to be rung up. Goes down on strikes, and that'll be the second of the game for LeBron, and it will send up Robert Lopez.
Now batting, the third baseman, number 9, Robert Lopez.
Lopez did a nice job on a slow bouncer off the bat of Servin earlier in this inning. Plays a nice third base, and Lopez, the third-year Argo, will wait as LeBron exchanges with the help of his catcher for a new baseball. Robert looking for his groove offensively. He's got 4 hits and 19 at-bats so far this season. Did have 1 plus 1 RBI at Columbus State. Slashes one back to the screen. He's behind 0-1. We're sure Lopez will find his stroke soon enough. Last year hit .287 for the Argos. 8 doubles, 4 home runs, a triple. He's got some pop. 0-1 due up. Righty fires, and Lopez couldn't hold up on a swing. 0-2 now. Waiting on deck is Sullivan, then Mike Branch, who had himself a nice game against the Cougars on Tuesday. Lights on at Jim Spooner Field, 0-2 count, 1 away. Nobody aboard, 0-0 ball game. Bringing it down to the buckle and unleashing as LeBron misses outside. Robert Lopez has started at least 40 games in each of his first 2 years with the Argos, and we expect nothing different this season. Approaching 100 hits for his Argo career. He's at 91 entering tonight. Upstairs, a little bit inside, and Lopez does a good job to lay off. Robert from Lakeland, Florida, George Jenkins High School, and 6'2" junior. And started all 7 games this season for UWF. Gets under one here, pops it out to very shallow left center. The center fielder takes charge, and he does reel it in. DeTringo, who had that great running catch on the collision with Smith on the ball hit by Strasser in the first, a little bit easier there. Fly 8 off the bat of Lopez. That'll usher up Sullivan. Sullivan's 6th game, 5th start of the season. The All-GSC tournament selection from a year ago. Hit .276 in 2017. Hitting .143 this season. He'll swing and miss. Sullivan 2 for 14 right now. A couple of RBIs. Had a home run at Florida Southern in the season opener. Drew a couple of walks against Columbus State on Tuesday. 0-1 due. Sullivan takes it off the end of the bat, golfs it out into shallow center. This should be the frame. Creeping back onto the infield is the shortstop. Golly, he's got it. It's a pop 6. It's a 1-2-3 for LeBron. He's faced the minimum through 2. Our starter has as well. Kuchera back to the rubber against Gaffney. DeTringo and Golly right after this. Third frame coming up on the UWF Sports Network.
And like us on Facebook.
UWF Baseball brought to you here live on GoArgos.com and the UWF Sports Network. It's Chris Gaffney leading off for the visiting Tampa Spartans, 4-2 on the season. And Gaffney, the catcher, coming up against Kuchera, who so far has gone 6 up, 6 down. Lefty on the first, misses outside. Gaffney, the backstop for this Spartans ball club this evening. He hails all the way from Holtzville, New York. Went to St. John the Baptist High School and came to Tampa by way of UNC Wilmington. Takes low and inside, 2-0. And Gaffney, a senior, biology major at Tampa, hitting .250 through 4 ball games, 3 RBIs. Redshirted 1 year at UNC Wilmington and then started play there as a sophomore. Ended up at Tampa his junior year, now his senior year. Last year, made 36 starts for the Spartans ball club. Checks his swing. And on appeal, it is ruled a ball 3-1. Gaffney last year recorded 37 hits for the Tampa Spartans, hit .259, and he gets a walk. First base runner here against Kuchera, 5-pitch free pass that'll send up to Tringo.
Now batting the center fielder, number 4, Nick DeTringo.
DeTringo had a catch on a collision in the first frame on a ball hit by Nick Strasser. Him and the left fielder Smith ran into each other. DeTringo came up with the baseball. Impressive effort. He'll take the first outside. That's 6 pitches and 5 balls here in the third from Tony Kay, and that'll get himself a visit from the catcher, Matt Sullivan. DeTringo, graduate of Tampa Prep, went to St. Petersburg College his freshman year and his sophomore year. Did end up redshirting his sophomore season, so his junior academic year, his sophomore playing year, was last year. And it was his first at Tampa. Appeared in 13 games. 1-0 due up to him. And he'll have to push pause as Kuchera surfs one over to Kirkman at first. 6 games. This is number 7 for Nick DeTringo. He's hitting .333. He's got a run scored. He's got an RBI. Last year hit .375 over 24 at-bats. Takes a strike through the bottom of the zone, and Kuchera evens him up at a ball and a strike. DeTringo from Ruskin, Florida. Has to wait again. Kuchera fires it over to first, scampering back, the catcher Gaffney. Gaffney without a stolen base so far this season. Tampa's a ball club. They've stolen only 3 in 4 tries. Foul ball, right side and back off the top of the screen. DeTringo just got served notice. Kuchera trying to evict him from the box. Gali waiting next. Tony Kuchera struck out Cryle to end the second. That was looking on a beautiful pitch. Deals home, and this one is lasered toward the left field corner. Looks like trouble. It is. It is down. It's off the short wall out and left. Digging it out there is Harmon. This is a double, and it's going to be second and third. DeTringo down to his last chance, and Kuchera tagged for the first hit of the game by the Spartans. Extra bases, 2 in scoring position, nobody out. Brandon Gali coming up to the plate for the visitors with the top of the order waiting next. Brandon Gali, the shortstop, the last to face off against Tony, who's trying to get a little more comfortable out there on the mound. Walks Gaffney on 5 pitches and then makes a mistake with 2 strikes to DeTringo. Corners in. Infield about normal here for UWF. Here's a shot left side. That'll find its way through the 5-6 spot. Golly, first pitch swinging. They send the second runner, and DeTrinco is going to score behind Gaffney. 2 RBI base hit for Golly. And just like that, it is a lead of 2 for the number 2 team in the land. Brandon Golly with one swing of his bat after the double by DeTrinco. Gives the visitors the lead. RBIs for Golly are the second and third of the young season. Tampa checked in at number 5 in the National Collegiate Baseball Writers Association poll February 1st. Prior to that, though, they did check in at number 2 on December 20th in the National Collegiate Baseball preseason poll. Lopez in at third. Smacking one to the right side, though, is Smith. He's got a base hit. And now the carousel is starting to turn for this well-regarded Tampa offense. 4 straight have reached. 3, the last 3 with hits. The last 2 with singles. And it's first and second with the pulse of the order coming up for the Spartans. Drew Earhart, the number 2 man on the card, about to return to the box.
Now batting
Kuchera in his first start of the season was down at Florida Southern. He was taking on a Mocs offense that's going to have itself a very good year, but Tony Kay kept us right in that ball game against the Mocs. He ended up taking no decision in that one. He gave up 2 runs, just 1 earned. Here's a little bunt down the left side. Lopez, how about that bare hand effort? Kirkman with the squeeze on the other end. It'll be a sacrifice for Earhart, but how about that play by Lopez, preventing that from becoming a hit? Nice bunt by Earhart. Better defense, though, by our very own Robert Lopez. We get the first out here, the third. Darren Miller coming to the plate.
third baseman number 10.
Gutierrez, we said, down at Florida Southern, 5 frames, 5 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, 7 strikeouts, 1 walk. 6 frames against Rollins on the 9th, 4 hits, no runs, 3 strikeouts, no walks, no hit by pitches. Really good stuff against Rollins, and really good stuff as well against Florida Southern. Kucherin trying to avoid the first time he's given up more than 1 run earned this season. And certainly trying to avoid giving up more than 2 for the first time overall. Swing and a miss by Miller. Good sign. Kuchera makes him look foolish on the first, the third baseman. Grounded out to second base and the top half of the first square. Strasser shaded towards second. And Kirkman in somewhat at first. Well off the bag. Pitch comes. And this one, ooh boy, that looked like it found the inside corner. Home plate umpire disagrees. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, first base open. Tampa threatening to add to a 2-0 lead. Kuchera comes set and fires home. This one in the dirt. Sullivan with a good block. Kuchera has, and we'll have to kind of backpedal on what we were talking about a moment ago, he has given up both runs as earned runs so far. So this is the first time this season that he's given up more than 1 earned run, but trying to make sure that the streak of not giving up more than 2 runs overall does stay intact. 2-1 here on Darren Miller with Harrison Bragg waiting next. 1 away, 2-0 game. Tampa out hitting UWF 3-1. Kuchera deals home. And this one is smacked out the right center. That's trouble into the gap. Going to run into the gap slightly. Estrada is able to cut it off, but this is going to be a 2 RBI double for Darren Miller. And it's a 4-0 game. Tampa, after sending the minimum to the plate in the first couple of frames, they are starting to get to Kuchera. Darren Miller, the latest to tag him, and for Mr. Miller, those RBIs are going to be 8 and 9 on the season. That's his 6th double, and that is going to get the 13th year head man Mike Jeffcoat out of the dugout here. And the Argos do have a man starting to warm up in the pen. Jeffcoat just conversing right now with his starter Kuchera. We've got Jared Gonzalez, senior from Navarre, Florida. 6'3" out there in the bullpen. He is starting to get loose, very early stages of it. Kuchera was cruising through the first couple of frames, but Tampa is starting to break the bats out now. The third frame in our game earlier today between Palm Beach Atlantic and Spring Hill, no doubt about it, was the key inning. Palm Beach was down very early 2-0, and then it was 2-1 going to the third. They scored 8 runs in that third square to really break the ball game open, and from there they never looked back. On the way to a 17-3 victory. Right now it's 4-0 Tampa. All 4 have come here in the third frame, and all 4 hits for the Tampa Spartans have come in this third frame as well. Tampa's also benefited from a walk. That was to the leadoff man, Gaffney. Meeting adjourned between Jeff Cote and Estrada Kuchera. Now dealing with Harrison Bragg, and not the guy you want to see with a man in scoring position. Bragg hitting .391 this year with 5 RBIs already. Time called. Bragg resets. 9 hits, 8 runs, 1 double, 2 homers. He's got the only 2 home runs this year for the Tampa Spartans. Tony fires. Swing and a miss. Runs that one into the dirt, and Bragg win chasing. Serving waiting on deck. Bragg 4 hits over his last 2 games. 3 multi-hit efforts already this season. And Kuchera once again gets him to dip down. That one tumbling off the table, and Harrison Bragg went looking for it on the kitchen floor. 0-2, 1 out. Argos down 4-0. Tampa out hitting us 4-1. UWF, we will have the bottom of the order, Branch, Jones, Dennison. Due up in the bottom half of the third against LeBron. Missing outside. And Kuchera not by much. Went to the breaking stuff again. Tampa this season, they've played in 3 one-run games, and they've had 3 games decided by 5 runs or more. The latest of those, February 11th, won 11-1 against number 16 Georgia College. Kuchera goes to deuce and deuce. Looking ahead, tomorrow it's against Spring Hill for Tampa, and then against Palm Beach Atlantic on the 18th. That's Sunday. After that, they'll have a treat. Tell you about that in a second. Bouncing ball fouled down the third base line. Lopez able to backhand it, but just an opportunity to show off the glove there in foul territory. And Tampa is going to help the Philadelphia Phillies, spring training outfit, get ready for the upcoming season. They are going to take on the Philadelphia contingent, and I believe that'll be on the 22nd. Should be a lot of fun. Here's a check swing, and Kuchera's got himself the strike. And he's got the strikeout. Second strikeout of the game for Tony Kuchera, and he has a chance to finish the frame right now. Servin coming back with 2 outs now. Servin, who hit out 5-3 in the second, still has a man on second. That's Darren Miller, who had the 2 RBI double a few minutes ago. Man on second, 2 away. Sullivan pushes pause. Goes out to talk to Kuchera, who's gotten a visit from Jeff Cote this frame, and he's getting a visit from his catcher. And back in 2015, University of Tampa took on the Philadelphia Phillies in a first game of spring training matchup. And the University of Tampa, this speaks volumes about a program that's one of the best in the nation. They actually beat the Philadelphia Phillies that year 6-2. Upstairs outside. Kuchera misses on the first to Servin. Outside, Mrs. Kuchera again, serving 0 for 1. Out ahead here, 2-0. One in scoring position, 2 away. Argos down 4-0. Top half 3. And Kuchera fires. This one stroked out toward the shortstop position. Jones tried to leap and grab it off of his mitt. He may have mistimed that jump very slightly. And it skitters out onto the grass for an RBI base hit. Servin picks it up, and that'll be a 5-run top half of the third now for these Tampa Spartans. Connor Cryle will become their 9th batter in this fruitful frame. If you're a Spartan fan joining us live from Tampa or anywhere around the country, we do want to say welcome. Appreciate the listenership and viewership. Spartans out to a lead here, but a lot of baseball still in front of us. Argos are going to have to get the bats going in a hurry against David LeBron. And Crowell struck out looking to end the second. Since then, it's been 6 to reach and 5 to score for the Tampa Spartans. These two ball clubs since 1991 have met 23 times. The Argos have won just 5 of those matchups, but when we met these Spartans a couple of years ago, 3-game sets, just 4 runs decided the 3 games, very close, and the series climaxed with just a phenomenal Game 3 that the Argos won 1-0. Rifle shot foul here by Cryle. He's 0-1. Kirkman holding on first, staying close as Servin. Kuchera just stepped off, now back on. And Kuchera misses outside to even up at 1-1. Looking forward after that ball game against the Philadelphia Phillies on February 22nd, it's back to work against the collegiate ranks for the Tampa Spartans. They'll have Florida Tech in Tampa. Conference matchup, the 23rd and the 24th, 3 games over 2 days. After that, they're done for February. Resume on March 2nd and 3rd against Nova Southeastern. More conference action. Here's a check swing. Dribbler toward Jones, flipped to second. 6-4 on the fielder's choice. Cryle hits into it. That's all she wrote for the top half of the third. Tampa, they bat 9, rack up 5 hits, score 5 runs. We're on our way to the bottom half of the third. Argos trailing the Spartans, number 2 team in the country, 5-0 here on the UWF Sports Network.
Tonight we get to recognize our
Mike Branch first up against LeBron here in the bottom half of the third. Branch, Jones, Dennison trying to help the Argos to overcome a 5-run deficit right now. Tampa with 5 runs on 5 hits earlier in the square. UWF has sent just 6 to the bat so far. We have 1 hit, but it was erased on a caught stealing. Estrada, the lone man with a base hit for the Argos. 1-0 comes in, and it's bounced up the middle by Branch. Charging in is Golly on the run, and he fires to first base. Gets it to Bragg in time. 6-3 on the high bounce out. Branch, who was 2 for 2 off the bench with a double at Columbus State, goes down in his first try here this evening. That'll send up Matt Jones. We've been talking about this Tampa program and all the accolades that they've earned over the years. 7 players from the program have advanced to the MLB level. Off the top of my head, I can think of 2, Lou Piniella and Tino Martinez. A couple of legends who played at the University of Tampa and went on to sterling major league careers. Matt Jones on 0-1 fouls back. Jones looking for his groove. 2 for 18 so far this season. Does have a run scored, does have a double. Had a double at Columbus State. The shortstop resettling into the right side. Looking for his 3rd strikeout is David LeBron. 0-2 coming up. And it's bounced towards short. Slow roller. Golly vacuums. Fires to first. Stretch there by Bragg. Reached out toward the home plate side and just got it into the mitt. In time to catch Jones, who has some speed. Couple of 6-3 putaways. And that'll send out Mason Dennison. Looking ahead for the Argos. After the Argo Invitational wraps on Sunday, we'll have Spring Hill back in town on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Then conference play does start on Saturday, February 24th, 1 p.m., 4 p.m. up at North Al. We'll conclude that series on Sunday. Then Miles College comes to Pensacola on Tuesday and Wednesday, February 27th and February 28th. Out ahead is the Ave Maria transfer, Mason Dennison. 1-0. UWF 2-0 at home this season, 0-4 away. Swept Rollins in our only other games at the Spoon so far this year. Swing and a miss by Dennison. Easy to ball and a strike, the Naples, Florida native, 6'4", 180. From Gulf Coast High School. Had a good year last year at Ave Maria. NAIA hit .303 over 50-plus games. Swings through, and we're going to 1-2. Dennison has reached, in every single game he's played so far for UWF, 5 straight ball games. 1-2 coming. Dennison fights it off. He's scored a run in 3 of his last 4 games appeared in. He's got a couple of RBIs this season. 1 walk, 1 sacrifice fly. He struck out just 3 times over the course of 20 at-bats. LeBron looking for his 3rd strikeout of the game. 9th man to face him. 1-2, and Dennison dribbles it back to the mound. That'll do it. 1-3 on the put-away. 3 up, 3 down once again for the Tampa starter. We head on to the 4th. It is a 5-0 lead for Tampa. They're led off once again by Gaffney. Right after this on the UWF Sports Network. New hurler alert. UWF going to the bullpen to start the fourth square. Day done for Kuchera, and in his place it is Jared Gonzalez, number 13, to face off against 7, 8, and 9. The stretch of the order that started the 5-run top half of the third for the Tampa Spartans. Gonzalez taking the place of Kuchera, the 6'3 senior from Navarre. Ready to go to Gaffney, and he'll fire his first. Gaffney lifts him high in the air, right field. Fairly well struck, but Estrada over into the gap. He'll make the play. Estrada has stayed busy out there in right this evening. I've got him down for 3 putouts over the first 3 1/3 frames.
The center fielder, number 4, Nick DeTringo.
Good sign here for Mr. Gonzalez. 1 pitch, 1 out. The Huntingdon College transfer. Gonzalez fires one in across the knees. It'll be 0-1 on the number 8 man, Nick DeTringo, who had the double, the first hit off of Kuchera, to make it second and third early in that top half of the third. Gonzalez last year went 3-1, 3.62 ERA, 16 appearances and 7 starts, just about 50 innings pitched. He struck out 23, walked 7. Gonzalez did pretty well up there at Columbus State. 2 1/3 frames, 1 run unearned on just 1 hit in relief. Whit Davis started the ball game at Columbus State. And the first few pitchers in a ball game that featured a whole host of them by the Argos. I couldn't quite get it done. Gonzalez helped to turn the pitching performance around up there against the Cougars. Struck out 3, hit 1, walked 1. Deals home, and this one's laced down to left field corner. Down, but foul. More or less where DeTringo hit that double in the 3rd frame. Luckily, though, this time it goes on the wrong side of the chalk for him, right side of the chalk for us. Gonzalez at Huntingdon College. He's the USA South Rookie Pitcher of the Year 2015. Honorable mention All-Conference. That was as a freshman, then as a sophomore. Had a 3.81 ERA across 13 appearances. 45 strikeouts that season before transferring to UWF. He's done a good job so far as an Argo and trying to find a way to put away DeTringo. Now all full with him. Full count delivery. Swing and a miss, taking something off. DeTringo fanning. And that'll be the first strikeout of the ball game for Jared Gonzalez. Now on the season. Sitting on 4. And for his Argo career, sitting on 27. Great pitch, totally fooled DeTringo. Chance for a 1-2-3 frame. If he does indeed set away Brandon Golly and face the minimum, it'll be the 3rd time in 4 frames that Argo pitching has faced the minimum. Problem is that 9 batted in the 3rd, and when the carousel stopped, there were plenty of prizes waiting for Tampa. 5 runs on 5 hits, leading 5-0 here in the top of the 4th, out hitting us 5-1. 2 away, 1-0 count to Golly. And a 2 RBI base hit in his first turn, and now he's got a base hit. Once again, sends one out to left. And Tampa with the 2-out single. That's their second 2-out hit of the game. And it will usher up the top of the order in the form of Stephen Smith. He's 1 for 2 so far. Base hit himself, run scored. Left fielder has also bounced back to the pitcher. UWF men's basketball tomorrow celebrates the senior day, as does UWF women's basketball. Ladies at 2, men at 4. Both teams taking on Union. Would love to see you out at the field house tomorrow afternoon. Maybe stop by baseball, head over to basketball for a while, and stop right back to the Spoon before you head home. UWF softball up in Montgomery to open up the GSC schedule this week. Tomorrow they have a couple of games starting at noon, and then Sunday a 3rd conference game also starting at noon. Pretty close play there as Gonzalez went to first. Kirkman slapped the tag on Golly. Just back in the hair of time. Jared returns his attention to Smith, and misses just a little bit low. Gonzalez gives a look toward his runner. Goes over there. Almost caught. Godley leaning. Back in time, though. UWF 2-4 on the season. Suffering losses against Florida Southern and Columbus State. Wins against Rollins. Runner moving. Ball slashed foul left side. UWF offenses stalled a little bit early in the year.
Don't forget to return all foul balls to the UWF
Stalling a little
dugout.
bit here tonight against LeBron, who's put away 7 straight since that base hit by Estrada. Top of the order for the Argo attack in the 4th due-up. 1 ball, 1 strike offering. On the docket for Smith. Outside, runner staying put this time. 2 balls and a strike. Smith, the alum of Trenton High School, went to Santa Fe College, went to Virginia Military Institute before heading to Tampa. Criminology major. Was at VMI, Virginia Military Institute, back in 2014. He's off to a scorching start this season. Average above 500 coming into play today. Smith, originally born in Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Taking low the 22-year-old. Now at 3-1. As a sophomore at Santa Fe College. In 2017, he hit .353, 6 home runs, 38 RBIs, runner moving. And Gonzalez does miss down to the basement. It's base on balls to Smith. First and second, both runners reaching with 2 outs, and now it's Drew Earhart. Laid down a sacrifice to move some runners up in the 3rd. Close play at 3rd. Took a great effort by Lopez to catch him at 1st. Earhart from Wharton High School, sports management major. Firing home, Gonzalez skims the inside corner. Turning out of the way was Earhart, but that one broke back into the zone. 0-1. Drew Earhart, his dad played at Tampa, 1986 to 1987. Went on to play in the New York Yankees organization. Rodney Earhart is a Hall of Famer at UT, inducted in 2016. The 19-year-old Drew Earhart, just a freshman trying to make his own name at Tampa. After starring at Wharton High School as team captain there, playing under Scott Hoffman. 0-2, Gonzalez has taken him to the brink. Let's see if he can push him over the edge. On the tracks, Earhart lays off the heat. The senior year of high school, very productive. Earhart hit .422. Had 4 home runs, drove in 24. Reached base more than half the time, OBP at .505. 1-2 coming. And he laces it through the left side. Base hit, and they will send the runner. Here comes Gali, here comes the relay, and it's going to be cut off. Lopez grabs it on a bounce. RBI base hit for Earhart, who was down to his last strike. And it's a 6-0 lead now for Tampa. 1st and 2nd. All the base runners have been with 2 outs here in the 4th. Gonzalez got a fly out and a strikeout to start the inning, but the wheels are starting to come a little bit loose here. Seven hits now in the game for Tampa, just 1 for the Argos. Sylvan and Gonzalez, a meeting of the minds out there on the mound. And 2 extra base hits in this ball game for Tampa. 5 singles, 2 doubles. Again, Tampa leading 6-0. It's the top half of the 4th. Second game of day 1 of the Argo Invitational. Plenty of action. I'm coming to you live here on the UWF Sports Network over the next couple of days. Here's a long fly out to left off the bat of Darren Miller, and this one is going to disappear somewhere into the Pensacola night. That looked like a breaking ball that was left up there by Jared Gonzalez, and Darren Miller smacked it for a 3-run home run to grow the lead to 9 for Tampa. And Darren Miller's had himself now a heck of a ball game. How about this? 2 extra base hits, a double and a home run, 5 RBI. And that is going to get Mike Jeffcoat out of the dugout for University of West Florida. There's a reliever poised at the gate right around the bullpen, and he is going to come on here for UWF. Argos will go to the bullpen for the second time here. We sent Gonzalez out of the bullpen to start this 4th. He gets the first 2 outs, has 4 straight reach, single walk, single. And finally, a 3-run home run to spell the end of his night. Darren Miller with his first home run of the season. And he is now up to a dozen RBIs on the year. We'll take a quick break. Come back here in the top half of the 4th. Argos trailing Tampa, the number 2 team in the country, 9-0.
First baseman, number 23, Harrison Bragg.
New hurler alert for the Argos. Chase Evans now on to pitch. 9-0 ball game. Tampa, they've scored all 9 over the last 2 squares. They've scored all 4 here in the top half of the 4th with 2 outs. All against Jared Gonzalez. His evening is done. And in his place has come Evans, facing off against Bragg, who's 0 for 2 in the game. Evans, 6'3", from Jacksonville, Florida. Went to Bulls High School, Florida State College at Jacksonville before coming to UWF. Falls behind 2-0. Last year as a sophomore at Florida State College, 32-plus innings, 3.03 ERA, pretty solid numbers for Evans. Did walk 26 against 20 strikeouts. Gets his first strike here and a foul ball back to the screen. Evans last season at the junior college level had 3 saves. In 1-2, 15 appearances, 1 start. He also pitched at Eastern Florida during his junior college days. Taken here high in the air by Bragg. Did he get under it too much out to left center? On the track, right in front of the College View sign. Harmon does reel it in. Bragg puts a scare into us, but it is a fly 7. Getting it done, Chase Evans. He gets the fly out after Gonzalez is tagged for 4, highlighted by the 3-run home run by Darren Miller. We go to the bottom half of the 4th. Argos down 9-0 here at the Spoon. We'll be back with the top of the order at the plate. Work to be done right after this here on the UWF Sports Network. B.J. Harmon first up here for the Argos against LeBron in the bottom half of fourth. Harmon, Estrada, and Strasser, 1, 2, and 3 for the Argos, and trying to find a way out of a 9-0 hole. Tampa swinging the bats well tonight, 7 hits, 9 runs. Against Kuchera and Gonzalez, Chase Evans got the final out of the top half of the fourth after Gonzalez surrendered a 3-run home run to Miller. Ground ball just out to the left of the shortstop, and Golly couldn't handle it cleanly. He boots it, and Harmon's going to be on. See how they rule this one. It will be an error on Golly. He was a little bit frustrated with himself after it came in and out of his glove and sort of booted it away toward the second base bag. E6 off the bat of Harmon gets him on, and that'll send up Matthew Estrada. Estrada with our only hit of the ball game. A single to the right side in the opening frame. Harmon on for first time. He's staying relatively close at first base. LeBron has not had to work from the set too much. Doesn't really have an exaggerated wind. Estrada tries to punch after one with a bunt attempt. Can't get to it. Did offer, and it will be 0-1. UWF baseball in danger of dropping a second straight ball game in our first game at home this season. Long way to go, though, still. Argos have the bats to come back, we hope, but it's going to take a performance unlike we've seen all season. UWF scored a season-high 6 runs at Columbus State on Tuesday, but did end up falling in that ball game. Final of 8-6, came back from a 7-1 deficit, made it 7-5. Ended up having an opportunity in the 8th. We had a leadoff double. Looked like we might rally down by a couple of runs late. Couldn't quite put it together against a good Cougars team. And you do have to give them some credit. They could swing the bats up there at Columbus State for sure. 2-1 now here on Matthew Estrada. Open stance left side, number 2, former Pensacola Catholic star. Righty from the belt. On the way, Estrada muscles one out to left center. Good read on it, though, by DeTringo, and he runs it down. Fly 8, little inside-out swing from Estrada. Almost found himself a piece of the gap. Instead, Strasser is going to bat with 1 out and 1 aboard. And tomorrow on the UWF Sports Network, we'll have baseball going in the afternoon. We'll also have basketball starting at 2 o'clock with the Argo women's team taking on Union. Powerhouse of the GSC this year. We're hoping to send our seniors off with one last home win on the ladies' side, and then the men will have a postseason game here at the Fieldhouse. So not going to be the last game for our seniors on the men's team. We'll have a playoff game on the 27th at the UWF Fieldhouse. Opponent TBD. We'll see who comes to visit us in Pensacola, Florida. In just over 10 days for the GSC men's basketball playoffs, Argos in a good position right now. A couple of games out of first place, firmly in second though, and looking like it'll be a big-time showdown against Valdosta to conclude the regular season on the road next week, and then possibly a showdown with those Blazers, who we beat earlier in the year in a great high-scoring game to open up GSC play in the GSC tournament. Might meet them again. A throw over to first. Harmon gets dirty. Strasser had 1-0, and he has to move off the plate. Missing way inside, this Tampa starter. Strasser sent one way out to left center field toward the 370 sign in the first inning. DeTringo and Smith collided trying to get to it. DeTringo reeled it in. Strasser taking now for a strike. 9 runs, 7 hits, 1 error Tampa. No runs, 1 hit. No errors for the Argos. Bottom half 4, 1 aboard, 1 away. Strasser, whose season last year ended on March 26th after he sustained an injury against Christian Brothers. Swinging away and fouling toward the right field corner. He'll go to deuce and deuce. LeBron with a couple of strikeouts in the game. Had one in the first, one in the second. Has not gotten a strikeout since he got Kirkman to start the second. Like time was called by Strasser. Missing outside was LeBron, and it's going to remain 2-2. The error by Golly snapped a streak of 7 in a row put away by this Tampa hurler. Golly's error allows Harmon to reach. Estrada flies out to left center. Harmon still on first. Two. Strasser takes outdoors. We're going all full, 3 balls, 2 strikes. UWF baseball trying to just get a run or two back here in this bottom half of the fourth. Give ourselves a little bit of hope after falling behind by this huge margin. Argos really have not played in a blowout game this year either way. Here's Strasser slashing one on the ground left side. Clean single. Nick Strasser makes it first and second for Nick Kirkman. You look at the scores so far this year for UWF. We're down at Florida Southern to open the season. Lost 4-2, 7-5, 4-1. So none of those games decided by more than 3 runs. Did win 5-1 against Rollins on February 9th, and then 5-3 in Game 2 of that doubleheader. Lost 8-6 at Columbus State, so no game for the Argos decided by more than 4 runs this season. We hope that this one starts to tighten up sooner rather than later. Columbus State against Georgia College, Tampa against Georgia College. Won 11-1 in their last game prior to coming here to the Argo Invitation. 1 ball, no strikes on Kirkman. Trying to build on that 4-for-5 ball game. Up there against the Cougars in Georgia. 1-0, 1 away. Man in scoring position, Kirkman. Looking to grow the RBI total. He's got 5 this season, and now he's going to have 2 in scoring position. This one gets away from the catcher, Gaffney. And it will be a wild pitch that makes it second and third. Strasser the trail at second. Lead man is Harmon at the hot corner, conversing with our third base coach, Kyle Brown. And looks like this is going to get a visitor out of the dugout for the Tampa Spartans. This ball club, coached by the legendary Joe Urso. He's assisted by Sam Militello. Those guys have each been there for 17-plus years. Jose Jimenez is an assistant on the ball club. Mark Johnson, assistant as well. Scott McNulty, a volunteer assistant. He's been there for 20 seasons. A lot of experience on the coaching staff. The Spartans outfit, Kyle Brown, Mike Jeffcoat huddling the base runners and the batter, as well as the man on deck around them on the third base side in foul territory. UWF trying to find a little spark offensively, and maybe, just maybe, Kirkman can deliver here. Base hit should plate us a couple. And Kirkman and settles in. 2-0 the count. 1 away, second and third. Pitch comes to Kirkman. Lays off downstairs, looking for the outside corner. 3-0 UWF. Dugout finding a little life. Fans urging these Argos on. 3-0 becomes 3-1 on Kirkman, the Oviedo, Florida native. Last year had 22 RBIs across 41 games. Hit .333 last season. And he will take a second strike, 3 balls, 2 strikes on the .319 career hitter at UWF. Over 100 hits in his career. 16 doubles, 1 triple, 5 home runs coming into this season. 3-2, fouls one away toward his own shoes. Will stay all full. On deck for the Argos is Robert Lopez. Matt Sylvan to follow. Three-two payoff pitch. Kirkman takes over the inside corner. LeBron comes all the way back from a 3-0 fall behind. And he does punch away Kirkman. Leaving runners on base has been a major problem for the Argos this season. Over our first 4 ball games, we left 32 base runners on. Most recently, against Columbus State, we left a total of 12 aboard. 2 in scoring position right now. Got to take advantage. 2 away. Estrada and Kirkman retired. Harmon and Strasser still alive out on the pond. Lopez going to take indoors. 1-0. Robert flew out to center for the second out of the second. First time the Argos have had 2 aboard simultaneously here in the game. Lopez takes a straight fast one for a strike, all even 1-1. From the wine, LeBron deals home and throws a dart over the inside corner. 1-2, Argos down to our last strike. And what started out as a very promising square, we hope we can still take advantage. Hurler's going to get himself a little space behind the rubber. Step onto the outfield grass, Galli at short, but he likes to play a little deep, it looks like. Earhart on the grass as well. At second, Lopez dips down after one and couldn't get it. It was loose in the dirt briefly. Tag away by Gaffney. Back-to-back strikeouts by LeBron, and the Argos leave 2 in scoring position in the 4th. Harmon left at third, Strasser left at second. We go on to the 5th. Argos down 9-0, being out hit 7-2 against the number 2 team in the nation, the Tampa Spartans. Fifth frame, Argos down 9-0. Had a chance to get on the board in the bottom half of the 4th. UWF with men in scoring position and nobody out. He left both Harmon and Strasser
Servin.
in scoring position, and now Chase Evans back to work here for UWF against Servin. On 1-0, Servin bounces one to the first base side of the mound. Evans leaps off the hill and easy enough flips to first base. It's 1 up, 1 down in this fifth square.
Now batting right fielder number 13, Connor Cryle.
And Connor Cryle up to the plate for Tampa. They have had just one leadoff man aboard, and that was in the third inning when they ended up scoring 5 runs. Got a leadoff walk to Gaffney. In the fourth, when they scored 4 runs, they had the first 2 men retired, Gaffney and DeTringo. But Golly, Smith, Earhart all reached. Earhart picked up an RBI and a base hit, and then Darren Miller delivered the blow with the 3-run home run. 1-0. Our count, 9-0 our score. Evans deals a strike to Cryle, evens him up at a ball and a strike. Cryle struck out looking to end the second against Tony Kuchera, right now in line for the loss. Cryle hit into a fielder's choice to finally, mercifully end that third. Here he slams one out to right field. Estrada on his horse, that one down. It's going to bounce off the pen air side. And Cryle to second, he'll slam the brakes there. 1 out double for the right fielder. And that is going to send up Chris Gaffney with a man to work with just around the corner. Eight of the 9 spots have reached base at least once for the Tampa Spartans.
Catcher number 17, Chris Gaffney.
Lone exception is Harrison Bragg, who's flown out to right, struck out, and flown out to left. Bragg almost hit one out of the park in the fourth, reeled in just in front of the wall by Harmon. Delivery by Evans. Just a little out of the zone. 1-0. Gaffney got the party started for Tampa in the third with the walk. He scored the first run of the game against Kuchera after drawing that free pass on 5 pitches. Man on second, 1 away, top 5. Evans gets a bouncer towards short. Jones stays back on it, unleashes to first. Kirkman with the stretch. Gaffney retired. Cryle does advance to third, but now 2 outs for DeTringo.
Center fielder number 4, Nick DeTringo.
DeTringo with a double. First hit off Kuchera in the third. Struck out in the fourth. That was against Gonzalez, who was our second pitcher of the game. We'll get you final lines here on Kuchera and Gonzalez momentarily. Outside misses. Mr. Evans, 1-0. Golly waiting on deck. He's 2 for 2, a couple of RBIs and a run scored. Actually, 2 runs scored. He is going to get a chance here as a soft line finds its way out to left off the bat of DeTringo. That'll score the 10th run of the game for Tampa. And pushing his luck is DeTringo. He makes it to second, diving head first there. That one was kind of an in-between line drive. When part of the way down the left field line, Harmon had to come in a ways to grab it. Double for DeTringo. Unorthodox variety. Gives way here to Golly. Still a man in scoring position, and now double digits on the board. Both hits department and runs department for the fellas from Tampa. The Spartans with a huge lead. Evans trying to do whatever he can to slow these fellas down. Swing and a miss by Golly. Promise those final lines for the home team hurlers so far. And Kuchera 3 frames. 5 hits, 5 runs, 5 earned, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Faced 15, gave up a couple of doubles. Threw a total of 38 pitches, 23 for strikes. He is in line for his first loss of the season. Jared Gonzalez went 2/3 of a frame, 3 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Faced 6 through 17 pitches, 8 for strikes. 1-1 on Golly. Stepping away here for a minute is Evans. Chase, 1 frame, 2 hits, 1 run. It was earned. Facing his 6th. He's given up a couple of doubles. And he has allowed the first run off of him to score. Cryle, just moments ago. 2 on the count. Golly working on an impressive game right now. 2 for 2, 2 runs, 2 RBIs. Chance to add to a couple of those categories here. Takes outside low, 3-1. Order about to turn back over to Smith. Evans from the set holds it just off the chest, close to the body. Gale takes him for a liner out to left center, but over in a hurry is Dennison. He's got it. L8. That will end the top half of the 5th. We're halfway through here at Jim Spooner Field. Argos down 10-0 versus number 2 Tampa. We're back on the UWF Sports Network right after this with Matt Sullivan at the dish. Sullivan first out, bottom half 5, halfway through here at the Spoon. Argos being out hit 10-4. We trail 10-0. UWF, actually I say 10-4. I believe it's actually 10-2 in the hits column. Matt Sullivan behind 0-1 so far in the ballgame. He's popped out. His only try so far against David LeBron. The man with the excellent reputation, the right-hander, fires to Sullivan and just misses. It will be 1 ball, 1 strike. A little bit more about this righty starter. Well-known name in Division II college baseball. 2016-17 at Tampa went 7-1. 1 complete game, 91-plus innings pitched, 27 earned runs, 103 strikeouts against 27 walks. Averaged over 10 strikeouts per 9. Ended up with a 2.66 ERA across 15 appearances, most of them starts. This guy can throw it. LeBron fires here, and Sullivan hits one hard but on the ground, and Miller gets to it. Throw almost pulled the first baseman Bragg off the bag, but he was able to keep a toe there for enough time to get Sullivan. 5-3 on the put away. That'll send up Mike Branch.
Now batting, hitter number 26, Mike Branch.
David LeBron went to South Dade High School. Started there. Started his collegiate career at the College of Central Florida as a sophomore. Went 7-2 there, 2.07 ERA. Branch taking down in the cellar. A freshman year at the College of Central Florida had a 2.76 ERA, 6-2 record. At South Dade, he was a first-team All-County selection his senior year. He's also the team's most valuable player. How about Mike Branch taking one out to the gap in right center? It's cut off by Cryle, but Branch now 3 for his last 4. 2 for 2 up there at Columbus State on Tuesday. And staying hot with the base hit, that'll send up Matt Jones with 1 to work with and 1 out. Argos down 10-0 here in the bottom half of the 5th.
Shortstop, number 23, Matthew Jones.
Last year, LeBron was the Sunshine State Conference Pitcher of the Year. First team All Sunshine State Conference. D2 CCA, first team All-American. ABCA, first team as well. Was the ABCA South Region Pitcher of the Year and the NCAA South Regional All-Tournament Team selection. And part of that group last year. There was a wild pitch just as we're singing his praises. That'll shuffle Branch up to second base. I believe that's 2 wild pitches now on LeBron in the ballgame. He was also the NCBWA Regional Pitcher of the Week last year in the month of March. 3-time Sunshine State Conference Pitcher of the Week in February and March last season. Struck out 15 batters in 8 innings during the South Region Tournament last year against Nova Southeastern on May 19th. How about that? 15 strikeouts in 8 innings. Wrap your head around that for a moment. Check swing by Jones. Ball got away from the catcher. Jones does have a strike rule against him. It'll be 1-1 here with 1 out. Branch not moving on that ball that we got away a little bit. Too far from Gaffney for his liking. Tampa recently had a Sunshine State Conference Pitcher of the Week. Not David LeBron, it was Kevin Pimentel. Just won the award on February the 12th. Here's a shot by Jones, well struck out to right on his horse. Kryl has time to backpedal and make the play. Sullivan tagging from second. He will advance to third. And the Argos, for the second straight square, have a man 90 feet away. Let's see if we can bring him in this time. Fly 9 off the bat of Jones. That'll usher up Dennison.
Now batting, the center fielder, number 27, Mason Dennison.
Tampa picked to finish first in the Sunshine State Conference this year. They will be one of the favorites, certainly in that conference, after winning the conference last season. Return a lot of key players, some of them out there tonight. David LeBron, Darren Miller have each made their mark this evening. Dennison out ahead 1-0. He takes outside. It's going to be 2-0. Good hitters count for the dangerous Dennison. Let's see if he can cash in. Got Sullivan waiting 90 feet away. Let's see if he can put him in a cab to the plate. 2-0 pitch. Dennison can't quite find the right timing. 2 balls, 1 strike. Mason for the season. And 2 for 20 coming into play tonight. 3 runs scored. Looking for his 3rd RBI. Just down the chalk. He fouls back here to the screen. And now we've got a 2-2 count. With 2 away and a man on third. Bottom half 5. Argos down 10-0. 4 strikeouts of the game for LeBron. He did strike out back-to-back to end the 4th. Trying to get Dennison here to strand Sullivan. Make him his 3rd left, all in scoring position in the game. See if Dennison can disrupt those plans. 2-2. And Dennison soft line up the middle, becomes a bouncer. Shortstop barehand, throw to first, and save is Mason. Bragg stretched for it, did get it cleanly, but I think not in time as Dennison was flying down the line. I'm sure this will be an infield single here. And an RBI for Mason Dennison to score Mike Branch. I think moments ago maybe we said Sullivan on third base. Our apologies on that. That was Branch. Lost track there for a moment. Branch does score. And the Argos, we are on the board. Now a 10-1 game. Dennison his 3rd RBI of the season. That one a soft line that went up the middle. Golly kind of misread it. I think there was some spin on that baseball. He made a good effort to grab it with the bare hand and fire over to first base, but Branch does score. Dennison does reach. Mason with his third hit of the season and his third RBI as well. Fifth to bat, it's BJ. Top of the order here against LeBron, and it's Miller in at third. LeBron bounces one off the plate. How about a 1-0 count? Out ahead is our leadoff man. Line right now on LeBron, just about 60 pitches, about 2/3 for strikes. 4 hits, 1 run, it was earned. 4 strikeouts, 2 wild pitches. 5 flyouts, 4 groundouts, 4 2/3 for the All-American righty. In his senior season at Tampa, Harmon going to take him through the right side for a base hit. Dennison advances to second. 3 of the last 4 with singles here for UWF, and now it's back to Estrada, the number 2 man, getting his third hacks against this Tampa starter. Estrada 1 for 2 with a single and a flyout.
The right fielder, number 2, Matthew Estrada.
Branch has scored. Dennison has an RBI, now in scoring position. UWF did not reach scoring position until the 4th. Now we've had 4 make it to scoring position. 1 has scored. Still going here in the bottom half of the 5th. He now hit 10-5 right now. A couple of steps back onto the grass as Earhart, the second baseman. Oh, 1. Well inside toward the shoestrings. Estrada out of the way. 1 ball, 1 strike. In the top half of the 6th, whenever we get there, it's the top of the order, starting with Steven Smith. For this Tampa outfit in their black jerseys with the red trim this evening. Black and white caps, Argos, and the all-white Nike jerseys. Just missing inside LeBron, and it's 2-1. 7 of the 9 tonight have a hit. 8 of the 9 have reached base for Tampa. UWF, we've woken the bats up a little bit over the last couple of squares. 2-1, Estrada bounces one toward first, and it's foul. Deuce is wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 aboard. We'd love a second run. UWF with number 2 at the plate as well. Offering. Estrada hits it hard up the middle, and it's off of LeBron's glove. This is going to be an infield base hit. A single for Estrada. Hit that one hard, bouncing up the middle. LeBron tried to field it, went off the glove, deflected towards second. Earhart didn't really have a play on it. Base is juiced now for Strasser, and this is the guy you want with the bat in his hands, and the base is loaded. Great power numbers this season. Hit one way out to left center that was caught by DeTringo in the first. Singled and was left on second in the 4th. Opportunity knocking for the Argos. 4 hits in this 5th frame, and a visitor is going to come out to talk with the righty starter. It looks like signals are being made from the dugout to the bullpen. Someone's going to start getting loose. For now, they're going to stick with LeBron, but you never know how much longer they want the night to go on for the star righty. Infield gathers round on the mound. Earlier in the day, the fellas from Palm Beach Atlantic, Kent Bottenfield squad, ran away from Spring Hill. Final score of 17-3. Here it's a 10-1 game, but starting to seem a little bit tighter than that, with the Argos threatening to add 1 run. Here in the bottom half of the 5th, bases loaded, 2 outs, but Nick Strasser at the plate. Strasser settles in. Bases loaded, LeBron back to the wind. Behind the runner at first, Bragg. And the first one misses. Strasser out ahead 1-0. Dennison on third, Harmon on second, Estrada on first. Each of them with a single. Branch had a single earlier in the frame. He scored our lone run of the game. Watch him from the dugout here as the guys try to add two. 1-0. Strasser swinging and missing. Be 1-1 on him. Nick, 4 extra base hits. Couple of home runs, couple of doubles. Does not have a home run yet at home this season. Could this be the moment to change that? LeBron comes. And that one outside. How about a 2-1 count? 10-10-1 right now for Tampa. 1-6-0 for UWF. Our run and most of our hits have come here in the 5th. Fatigue evident now, I think, for LeBron. Trying to grit and grind his way through this bottom half of the 5th. Hard hit ball by Strasser, laced on the ground down the third base side, almost fair, but just foul. Could have fit a sheath of printer paper between where that ball ended up and that foul line. Strasser, I thought, had it for a half a second. Thought maybe it got over the corner of that bag. Umpiring crew, though, I think, gets it right. 70th pitch now of the evening for LeBron. 2-2. 2 away. Bases checked. On the way to Strasser. Lays off outside low, and we're about to start a carousel here. Merry-go-round. Poised to move. Quarter is in the slot. And now the horses are going to be running. Nick Strasser sends something into a gap. That's going to clear the bases. Base hit will score 2. 3-2 on number 3 with 2 away, and this pond crowded. LeBron taking his time looking for the sign. And he'll step off, trying to get on the same wavelength here with Gaffney. Payoff pitch, and now he's in the set. And he misses way inside. Walks in a run. Dennison touches home. Argos have scored twice here in the bottom half of the 5th. And Strasser credited with the RBI, drawing that walk. He's now got 3 RBIs on the season. The walk is his 5th of the season. And the bases still checked up for the cleanup man, Mr. Kirkman. Chance to really help us cash in. Extra base hit here makes it a whole new ball game. Kirkman had a couple of RBIs up there at Columbus State. Made it 7-5 in the middle innings with a double. He slaps one right side foul. 0-1. Tough evening so far for Kirkman. He struck out twice, once swinging, once looking. Was out ahead 3-0 in the 4th. Ended up going down on strikes. LeBron delivers 0-1. And Kirkman out ahead 0-2. And Kyle Brown clapping the hands, giving him the encouragement from that third base coaching area. Scoring the run was Dennison. Harmon now on third, Estrada on second, Strasser on first. Argos have left 2 for the ball game, both in scoring position. And we've had a man caught stealing down to frame as well. 0-2. 2 away. 10-2 game. Bottom half 5. LeBron misses upstairs outside. And we're going to 1-2. LeBron measures it out. From the buckle. Misses outside low to Kirkman. And that will run the count to 2-2 here. And Kirkman, who's hit well over 300 in 2 of his 3 seasons with the Argos. Hitting .316 coming into play today. 2-2. Outside and low. How about that? And now that pitch count ascending the ladder to that 80 number. For LeBron, they've got a right-hander getting loose in the pen. And one does wonder if Kirkman gets on here before Lopez comes to the dish. Does Tampa make that decision to switch out the pitcher? LeBron would not be in line for the win unless he gets through 5. Keep that in mind as well. Runners moving. Kirkman hits one hard left side. Bounces through the 5-6 spot past Miller. Here we go. Argos on the comeback trail. Couple of runs score. How about that? Kirkman with a key swing on a full count delivery. Knocks home 2. Harmon and Estrada score. Strasser all the way to third. And the Argos with men on the corners. And a 10-4 game we now find ourselves in. Lopez coming to the plate to try to keep this parade marching.
Now batting, the third baseman, number 9.
LeBron is clearly struggling, but as we said, it might be difficult for the coaching staff to pull him out knowing that he has to get through 5 to get a W. He's 1-0 on the season. Something to consider. He's given up 6 hits and 4 runs here in the bottom half of the 5th. They've got a man getting loose, but I think it might take more to send him off stage right. Here comes the first to Lopez outside low. He's the 9th to bat here in a great bottom half of the 5th for the Argo faithful at Jim Spooner Field. .1-0 coming to Robert. And he takes it low. 2-0 on number 9. Hitters count. 5 total runs scored in the 5th. 4 of them by UWF. Third half inning in the ball game of at least 4 runs scored. 2 of them belong to Tampa. Now we own 1 as well. Would you think about maybe sending Kirkman to get to second here? Average lead at first. 2-0 to Lopez. Swinging away, bounces one towards Strasser at third. Almost hit him. Just foul and just missing potential extra bases. Lopez smacked that one. 2-1. Here comes Gaffney out of the mound to have a conference with LeBron, who got Solvin on a 5-3 to start this 5th, but then Branch took him for a single. Jones flew out to right. Argos have had 5 straight reach, all with base hits. All 4 runs scoring with 2 outs. Here in the bottom half of the 5th, that's completely changing this game. Down 10-0 entering the bottom of the 5th. And now we've gotten a piece plus a little more back. 2-1 on Lopez, turning it out of the way high and tight. Now it's 3-1. LeBron's just not hitting his spots right now. He's not missing by a ton. But you can tell that pinpoint accuracy that he prides himself on is just not quite there right now. 3-1 to Lopez. And he takes downstairs. How about bases full once again for UWF? Looks like this might be curtains now for LeBron. It is going to be a switch. Argos will be facing a new hurler for Tampa. Base is loaded, 10-4, game 2 outs. And it is going to be Matt Sullivan, the man who started this frame, coming up. More about who's coming in for the Spartans right after this on the UWF Sports Network. New pitcher for the Tampa Spartans, Tyler Beck into the ballgame, inheriting the bases full from David LeBron. Final line still pending for him. What we know, 4 runs while he was physically in the game. Also surrendered 7 hits, all 4 runs plus 6 of the 7 hits given up here in the bottom half of the 5th. And the Argos are not done yet. And Tyler Beck, the junior righty, making his 3rd appearance now for Tampa this season. 3 frames, 1 hit, no runs, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts so far. Coming into a sticky situation, Sullivan gets an extra base hit here. You might be looking at a deficit that's very manageable, maybe 3 runs, 4 runs, something like that. Sullivan against LeBron was 0 for 2 with a pop out and a ground out. Branch waiting on deck. LeBron faces all 9 batters for the Argos in the 5th. Retired 2 of the first 3 that he faced in this inning, but since then it's been a parade of Argos reaching base left and right. Time is called here. And Tyler Beck going to get a visit from Gaffney. Number 6. He's pitched against Bentley and Georgia College so far this season. Beck from South Bend, Indiana, St. Joseph's High School, went to Pasco Hernando State College and Purdue before coming to Tampa. Human performance major. Last year was at Pasco Hernando. Beck is going to throw one in the dirt, off the catcher and loose on the third base side behind the plate. That'll score a run. Well, it looked like Gaffney and Beck could not get on the same page. Beck threw one way into the dirt, and that's a wild pitch to score Strasser from third. Now a 10-5 game, and we've got 2 in scoring position to boot. How about that? Strasser comes home. Kirkman standing on the hot corner. Lopez now on the keystone. 1-0 on Sullivan. Last year, Beck went 44 frames on the junior college circuit, 3.68 ERA, 58 strikeouts. 4-4 on the season. 1-0 due up. And pitch comes and it's downstairs. Fans really into it. Argo dugout really into it right now. We have halved the 10-0 lead. Tampa once leading this game by double digits. That has slowly evaporated away, down to 5. Sullivan thought about it on 2-0, but he'll be 2-1. At St. Joe's High School up there in Indiana. Tyler Beck did play in the Indiana North-South High School All-Star Game as a shortstop. 3-time All-Northern Indiana Conference honoree. First team selection his senior year. Beck from the buckle. Kicks and comes. And Sullivan can't get the timing down, 2-2. Took a redshirt year at Purdue playing for the Boilermakers. Tyler James Beck, 22 years young. As a freshman at Pasco Hernando, 2016. Started 11 games, puts one in the dirt there. This time Gaffney keeps it in front. How about a full count for Matt Sullivan with Branch, who had our first hit of the inning, ready to go right after. Second and third, first base open. 10-5 game. Argos trying to keep this train rolling. A full count offering. And Sullivan bounces one real slow down the third base way, and this is going to be an infield base hit. Beck tried to field it. He kind of bobbled it. No chance for a play at first. He thought about throwing a fadeaway toward first, but ended up eating it. Kirkman scores, and the Argos have posted 6 runs in the bottom half of the 5th. How about this? Mike Branch, who had our first hit, scored our first run of this exciting frame. Back for more. And the man on deck, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but the man on deck, Matt Jones, potentially could come up as the tying run. Go from a 10-0 deficit to a potential tying run situation. That's something. And here comes the skipper for Tampa. Looks like Urso's out of the dugout again. He's looking toward the bullpen. And I think he wants another pitcher. There's another reliever ready for the Spartans, and this is going to be a very short evening for Tyler Beck. The third hurler of the frame for the Spartans is going to come on. We'll tell you who it is right after this. Argos on the comeback trail. We've cut a 10-0 deficit down to 10-6 here at the Spoon. Back with the continuation of the bottom half of the 5th on the UWF Sports Network right after this brief break. Mark Moclair on to pitch for the Tampa Spartans. Originally from Newport News, Virginia, the junior righty now counts Seffner, Florida as his hometown. Strawberry Crest High School alum. He's in his 3rd year with the Spartans, and he has been brought on to try to put out a fire here for the Tampa squad that at one point was leading this game 10-0, leading 10-0 coming into this bottom half of the 5th. That lead is down to 10-6, courtesy of 6 2-out runs by the Argo offense. 7 hits in the frame and all 6 runs in the game for us. Scored here in this bottom half of the inning. Mauclair coming in relief of Beck, who came in relief of the starter, the star, LeBron. LeBron's final line, 4 2/3, 7 hits, 6 runs, 6 earned, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, 2 wild pitches, 23 faced, 83 total pitches, 51 strikes, was on cruise control for the first 4 innings, did not have to face off against more than 5 in any inning to start this game. But then in the 5th, Argo started to come to life and put it together, base hit after base hit here in the 5th to really work our way back into this ball game. And man, if UWF could erase this deficit, that would be some kind of story, wouldn't it? This is the 2nd straight game where the Argos have fallen behind by at least 6 runs. Battled all the way back to make it a 2-run ball game up there at Columbus State on Tuesday. Could not complete the comeback effort. We hope that we can, of course, here this evening, and hopefully we can down this number 2 team in the nation for a signature win. Branch up to the plate. Mauclair ready to work. Men on the corners. 2 outs. Mauclair with his first. And he goes to the heat. A little trouble catching up to it for Mike. He's 3 for his last 4 over the last 2 games. Branch will take a couple of practice swings. Jones waiting on deck, then Dennison. Branch came off the bench on Tuesday and had himself a real opportunity to shine as a reserve on Tuesday. Did a great job, went 2 for 2 against the Cougars. Given the starting spot tonight. Again, can't quite get to one out of the hand of Mauclair. This guy's got a little heat. And he's got Branch behind 0-2. Thanks again for being with us here on GoArgos.com/live, as well as the UWF Sports Network. Argos putting on a show here in the bottom half of the 6th. Bottom half of the 5th, but we've scored 6 runs. 0-2. Coming after Mike. Check swing, lasers one back to the screen. The scoring has been done in bulk. It's been Costco kind of scoring here tonight. 5-run top half of the 3rd for Tampa, 4-run top half of the 4th. They scored once in the top half of the 5th, now 6 runs in the bottom half of the 5th. For UWF, these 2 teams have combined for 16 runs, 18 hits. Just 1 error, that was by Tampa in the 4th. And it was by the shortstop, Golly. 0-2 to Mike, once again, and he will fight one off. Good battle. Mauclair ends up back on the screen again. Mark Mauclair. (0-2) with Mike Branch. And he will foul one off the plate this time, staying alive. At Strawberry Crest High School, Mauclair played for the Chargers and had himself an outstanding finish to his high school career, his senior season. Right-hander. Stuck in this battle with Branch. Creeping off of first is Sullivan, and Branch will be punched out. On the outside corner goes Mauclair. He finally finishes the job, but it is a total of 11 to bat for the Argos. We score 6 runs on 7 hits. We're right back in the game. 10-6 as we go on to the 6th here at the Spoon against number 2 Tampa. Whole new ball game as we start the 6th frame, and it's a new pitcher for the Argos to try to help us keep the deficit at a now manageable 4. Dylan Mills-Darwin from Biloxi, Mississippi on to pitch, and he will stamp through a strike to Mr. Smith, who's leading off. Top of the order here for Tampa. Earhart and Miller to follow. Dylan Mills-Darwin from Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College was a star last year in the Mississippi Association of Community and Junior Colleges, won 10 ball games. First team all-conference selection. It's a second strike by virtue of a foul ball here by Smith. Smith has done well. Single and a walk so far in the game to reach a couple of times, and he's been able to score twice as well. Dylan Mills would love to put him away. The lefty, Biloxi High grad, fires home, and this one skipped down in the dirt. Smith not biting. Sullivan goes out to talk with Darwin. Dylan Mills-Darwin, during his first year of college ball on Mississippi Gulf Coast, was an NJCAA National Pitcher of the Week. Threw a no-hitter in April that season and won the honors. He and Sullivan talk it over briefly. The lefty, while he was at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, had himself an opportunity to play in one of the best stadiums in all of minor league baseball. Gulf Coast was playing a couple of years ago, the whole season at the home of the Biloxi Shuckers, MGM Park. Dylan Mills with the strikeout here. Goes to the high cheese, and Smith going after it. He's burned out of the box by Dylan. And that'll send up Drew Earhart. Mills-Darwin debuted for West Florida up at Columbus State on Tuesday. Was hit around a little bit, but first time pitching for the team. Nerves might have played a factor. This guy can throw it. I had a chance to see him over both the seasons that I pitched in the junior college ranks. I was working at the time in the Mississippi Association of Community and Junior Colleges myself, and I will tell you that this guy has the stuff to be successful either as a starter or a reliever at this level. He goes to 1-1 against Earhart, just missing outside. Drew Earhart 1 for 2. With an RBI base hit, he scored a run. Put down a sacrifice as well. Mills-Darwin comes and fools Earhart here. He's down to his last strike. 1-2 on number 2. Miller, who has 5 RBIs in the game, might be coming up with nobody aboard. That's exactly what the doctor ordered. Jones, Dennison, then the top of the order for the Argos, the bottom half of the 6th. Slow roller down the third base way. Is going to be a foul ball. Will stay put at 1-2. Mills-Darwin has his sign. Sullivan sitting up outside. Here's a soft line right center. That'll fall in. Dennison couldn't quite get to it, and Earhart able to muscle one out to right center for a single. That will give Miller one to work with out of the base paths. And Darren Miller having himself an evening to remember. So far, had a 2 RBI double in the 3rd, and then hit a 3-run home run in the 4th. Miller, 5'8", 185, formerly a Florida State Seminole. Takes down in the dirt. Played at Florida State for a couple of seasons. Played in 31 games there as a sophomore a couple of years ago. Hit 229. Hit 282 as a freshman. That was the best mark that year, 2015, among all Florida State freshmen. Had 31 hits. In his Tampa Spartans career, he has now reset his personal record for most RBIs in a game. He had 4 RBIs against Florida Southern last April. Has 5 this evening. Had 4 RBIs also against Flagler in March and Valdosta in May. So 3 times he'd gotten to 4. He's at 5 tonight. Pops one up here, right side. Over is the first baseman Kirkman. circles into it, and he does make the play. Dylan Mills-Darwin now with 2 outs, retiring the dangerous Miller. And the lefty is just 1 out away from sending us on to the bottom half of the 6th, where we hope the Argo offense can keep on going. We drove David Lebron from the game and saw 2 different relievers from Tampa in the bottom half of the 5th. We do expect that the latest man on the mound for the Spartans, Mark Mauclair, who struck out Branch to end that bottom half of the 5th, and to return. First from Dylan Mills on the inside corner. It's looking pretty good here tonight. Mills-Darwin at the start of the season and on picture day was rocking a pretty thick beard. It's the first time I've seen him this season without the beard. Whatever it takes to get on track. Dylan stares at first, fires outside. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 away. 10-11-1 for the Spartans. 6-8-0 for the UWF Argonauts. We are trying to hold the Spartans off the board for the first time since the 2nd, when Kuchera put together his 2nd straight 1-2-3 frame to start the evening. Breaking ball and mighty nasty from Dylan Mills-Darwin. One and 2 here on Harrison Bragg, who's 0 for 3, 2 flyouts and a strikeout. Flyouts have gone to right and left. Strikeout of the swinging variety. Dylan Mills is the 4th hurler of the game for UWF. Kuchera, Gonzalez, Evans, and now Mills-Darwin, and Mills-Darwin faces just 4 here in the 6th. 2 strikeouts. He leaves Earhart on first base by getting Bragg. Let's go to the bottom half of the 6th. Argos down 10-6 here at Jim Spooner Field. Jones leading off right after this break. Jones against Mauclair to start the bottom half of the 6th. Fellas from Tampa with the lead, but UWF with the momentum. We have hacked away at this Tampa lead that once stood at 10-0. Trimmed it down to 10-6, being out hit 11-8. Mauclair with his first, and Jones immediately lofts him out to right field. Easy enough for Cryle. Fly 9 off the bat of Jones to kick things off here in the bottom half of the 6th. Arcos batted 11 in the bottom half of the 5th, had 7 hits, scored 6 runs. Mauclair finally stopped the bleeding for the Spartans. He came in and struck out Branch. This guy has plenty of heat behind that fastball. Dennison taking for an opening ball from Montclair. LeBron got the first couple of outs in the fifth, and then Beck came on for just a short stint. Argos scored all the runs in that bottom half of the fifth with 2 outs. We hope we won't wait until that situation to maybe put another run or 2 on the board here in the bottom half of the sixth. Dylan Mills-Darwin doing a great job in the top half, facing 4, striking out 2. Final line on LeBron again. 4 2/3, 7 hits, 6 runs, 6 earned. You can bet those 6 runs were a season high. I think earlier maybe we said his final line a hair too early. He was still responsible for a man on base at the time. So that is 6 runs, 6 earned today for LeBron. 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, 23 faced. 5 flyouts, 4 groundouts, 83 pitches, 51 strikes. Beck came in and threw just 6 pitches. Gave up a hit, threw a wild pitch, faced a batter, and then Montclair came on to eventually finish the frame. They wanted very badly for LeBron to get that final out of the fifth to get in line for the win, but ended up stopped by a brick wall at the 4 2/3 mark. 3-1 now, Montclair and Dennison dueling. Montclair lifted by Dennison, sky high right field line. Looks like it's going to drift out of play at will. All full. Montclair approaching 10 pitches. Some kind of wild ball game to finish out a great day of baseball at the Argo Invitational. We've been at it here for 2 hours and 25 minutes in game 2. (3-2) coming to Mason. And he'll chop it up the middle. Golly on a hop behind second, unleashes to first. And that's a heck of a pick there by Bragg to get the out. Skip throw. Bragg went to a knee, reached toward right field. And Dennison has plenty of speed. That took a lot of concentration, and Bragg does finish the play. Got to tip your cap to him. 6-3 on the bounce out. Now it's going to be Harmon. BJ has been on twice. He's been left on third. He scored a run. Let's see if BJ can maybe find a way to start another 2-out rally. Out ahead, 1-0. Now Harmon taking one off the end of the bat foul. He'll be at 1-1. Struck out against LeBron in the first, and then reached via error in the fourth, left 90 feet away, singled and scored in the fifth. BJ has the average up to 231. Pitch on the way from the right-hander, and it hit him. Hit him low around the leg, and just like that, the Argos are back on base with 2 outs. HBP to get it to Estrada. And a base hit as well in the fifth. He's 2 for 3 in the game. Let's see if he can keep on going here. Deficit manageable, but still work to do here for the Argos. Team has not gotten off to good starts over the last 2 games. There's no doubt about that. Fell behind 7-1 at Columbus State, 10-0 tonight, but give these guys a lot of credit. Sticking in it, both of the games. Against the Cougars and tonight against the number 2 team in the nation. Battling the whole way. Bunch shown by Estrada pulled it back. He's 1-0. Montclair struggling to get first pitch strikes. Glance at first. Harmon on for a third time there. Pitch to Estrada outdoors. 2-0, and guess who? Nick Strasser waiting on deck. Opportunity knocking for the Argos. Let's see if we can bust down the door once again. Tag Montclair for a run or two. Really climb back in this one. Pitch comes and laying off is Estrada. He's now 3-0. UWF for the ball game. We've left 4. I believe 3 of those in scoring position. Would be surprised if Estrada goes after one here. 3-0 after an HBP. And he will indeed take. It's right down the pipe. 3-1. Montclair glanced to first. And the runner moves, pitches way downstairs inside, gets past the catcher. Estrada goes to first. Harmon now on second. He stays put there. And a couple of free passes. The Argos are sitting pretty. With Nick Strasser coming up to the plate. Again, it's a 2-out rally for UWF. Let's see if we can make it into another run scored with 2 outs. Strasser with the bat in his hands. She had the base hit to keep the rally in the 5th alive. 1 for 2 right now with a run scored and an RBI. Kirkman's got 2 RBIs waiting on deck. 3-4 spots, 2 hits, 3 RBIs. 5 chances so far here this evening, 5 at-bats. And Strasser taking 4 ball downstairs. And Strasser actually in the 5th drew a walk. In the 4th he had that single, but the walk did get him an RBI in the 5th. Walked home a run with the bases loaded. 1-0. And it will be a strike over the inside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Montclair. Put away Jones and Dennison. Hit Harmon. Estrada walk. Strasser looking to reach for a 3rd straight plate appearance. Pitch on the way. Strasser takes it off the inside of the bat foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1st and 2nd, Argos down 10-6. We've trailed by as many as 10 in the game. Could it be a comeback for the H's here for UWF in front of these faithful at the spoon? One, 2. And Strasser fouls away. Doing a good job to stay alive. Another 2-strike delivery on the agenda. And Strasser will take outside. All even. Deuce is wild. 2-2. 2 away, 1st and 2nd. Strasser could very easily turn this into a 2-run game. Runners will be off with contact. Montclair. And Strasser will be struck out by him. Can't quite catch up. Montclair gets him on strikes. Argos have now left 6 in the game. We go to the 7th, down by 4. 10-6 affair against number 2 Tampa. Dylan Mills-Darrow went back to work top half of the 7th, serving first up for the visitors. And he will stroke Mills-Darrow went out toward the right field corner. On his horse, though, Estrada. And he gallops over to make the play. 1 up, 1 down for Dylan Mills-Darrow, and he's now retired 4 of 5 that he's faced in the 6th and 7th. The lone exception last frame was Earhart, who had a base hit with 1 out, but he was left by Dylan Mills. 2 strikeouts in the 6th for our latest relief man, doing a good job right now. And Cryle coming to the plate. He's 1 for 3, double run scored. And Cryle actually scored the last run for Tampa, their 10th run that made it 10-0 in the top half of the 5th. He doubled with 1 out and then scored on a double by DeTringo. Dylan Mills bends one in through the zone, has him behind 0-1. 11 deals, and it's downstairs. 1 ball, 1 strike. Gaffney waiting on deck. DeTringo in the hole. Argos had 2 aboard, but left them both in the bottom half of the 6th. That means Kirkman, after Strasser struck out to end the frame, is going to lead off the bottom half of the 7th after the stretch. Breaking stuff has a lot of bite to it for Dylan. Ran it into the dirt there, and we'll have ourselves a 2-1 count on 13 Connor Cryle. 6th man in the order for the Spartan squad. Reached on a fielder's choice in addition to the double. The fielder's choice came in the 3rd. It was a part of that 5-run top half of the 3rd for Tampa. Got them out to a big lead. They added 4 more in the top half of the 4th. 1 in the top half of the 5th. Argos scored all 6 of our runs in the bottom half of the 5th. Cryle on 3-1 taking. He's going to be the 2nd to reach against Dylan Mills based on balls. That'll send up Chris Gaffney.
Now batting the catcher, number 17, Chris Gaffney.
Mills to Gaffney in the first, good for a strike. DeTringo next up. Gaffney, he's hitless this evening. We'd love to keep it that way. He did reach with a walk in that productive 3rd. Ended up scoring a run. Was the first to reach, first to score against Kuchera. Started this ball game. Mills-Darrow in breaking ball finds its way toward the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. And now it'll be 1-2 as Mills-Darrow gets Gaffney to lose his balance slightly. Mills-Darrow slapped foul right side. Still tangling at 1-2 with Gaffney. Dylan would love his 3rd strikeout against just 7 faced. That'll have to wait, though. He tosses over to first. Scampering back is Cryle. Tampa team doesn't run much. Dylan Mills ready to turn the attention back toward the catcher in the right side. Pitch comes, and it's lasered left side. Gloved by Lopez, throw to first, and it skips by Kirkman. Ball hits off the short fence, runner moving to 2nd. And Cryle, in a very unorthodox way, ends up on 2nd base. Lopez able to spear it at 3rd base. L5 off the bat of Gaffney. Came off that barrel. Lopez gloved. Tried to double off Mr. Cryle at first, and Cryle ends up on the keystone. That'll send up DeTringo with a man in scoring position. Error for UWF is going to be our first of the game.
Number 4, Nick DeTringo.
It will go against Lopez, and now it's DeTringo. trying to cash in on it for the Tampa Spartans. Tringo, a pair of doubles in this game, a run scored, plus an RBI. Golly waiting on deck. Room right side, Strasser playing towards second. Should be shuffling back toward more normal positioning, though. There he goes. Dylan misses way inside, way low, getting a body on it, Sullivan. Going full speed to run it down before the guy on second, Kreil, had any ideas. Meeting coming here between Mills and Jeffco. Mike coming out to trying to help out the southpaw from Biloxi. Great town, Biloxi, Mississippi. Always had a lot of fun there. Mike Jeffco, the longtime coach here at UWF, drafted by the St. Louis Cardinals. Bart signed with the St. Louis Cardinals during his playing days, now in his 13th season with West Florida. Four-time GSC Coach of the Year honoree. Was promoted from pitching coach to head coach August of 2005. And now, with many years, over 400 wins under his belt, trying to help the Argos to straighten out this 2018 season. Team is 2-4 right now. Jeffco, who coached for a number of years under Jim Spooner. Back in the dugout, Dylan Mills misses upstairs. Jeffco led the Argonauts to the 2016 GSC regular season crown, 2011 national champions. 5 South Regional Tournament berths in the last 7 years. And 2-0 coming to DeTringo. And there's Uncle Charlie dropping down the chimney. DeTringo takes her a strike, 2-1. Mills Darwin misses up in the attic. First base is open. Golly waiting on deck. The bottom 2 in the order right now for Tampa. I've got them down for 3 RBIs. I've got them down for 3 runs scored. I've got them down for 4 hits, 2 of them for extra bases. DeTringo, Golly have really provided a spark at the bottom of the card for the Spartans, but this lineup goes 9 deep for the number 2 team in the nation. What more would you expect? Breaking ball to the dirt. Mills Darrow will issue the walk, his second of the frame. First and second now for Golly. And we will see if Dylan can find a way to put out this flame before it becomes a fire.
Now batting shortstop number 9. Brandon Golly.
Golly with the top of the order, Wayne next. Up to the plate, but first here comes Mike Jeffcoat. Argos have had a man getting loose down in the pen, and I think this might be relief pitcher time. Once again, Dylan Mills Darwin faced 4 in the 6th, left 1, struck out 2. He faces 4 in the 7th, leaves 2 aboard, virtue of a couple of walks. He is done for the evening. We've got a right-hander jogging in behind him. We'll tell you who it is right after this on GoArgos.com. UWF and Tampa meeting here at Jim Spooner Field. Top half of the 7th. Argos down 10-6. Tampa with a couple of runners aboard. Top half of the 7th, Tampa threatening to increase its 4-run advantage. Alex Knight on to try to prevent that from happening. Knight, like Mills Darwin, who just exited the ball game, spent last year in the Mississippi Association of Community and Junior Colleges. He pitched for East Mississippi, the Hattiesburg, Mississippi native, 6'3" junior who picked up the first win of his UWF career last weekend against Rollins. On to pitch, on to face off against Gali. And the first one is a nasty breaking ball for a strike. 0-1, Knight out ahead. Gali for the game. A couple of hits, a couple of runs, a couple of RBI. He's also lined out to center. Sends a pop fly behind the plate. Does Sullivan have a play? Looks like that will come down somewhere in the middle bleachers, 6-7 rows in front of me up here in the press box. Knight now at 0-2 against Gali. Doesn't want to see the top of the order here in the top half of the 7th. We're out away from the stretch. 19 hits, 16 runs between these two teams. Argos down 10-6. 2 away, 2 aboard. Knight comes, and this one is taken on a fly out to left. Harmon charging in, he's got it. Alex Knight does the job. He strands the 2 base runners Mills Darwin gave to him. And we are headed on to the bottom half of the 7th. UWF and Tampa, 4 runs separating the two teams. Spartans up 10-6. We'll be back after this.
Stand up, stretch it out here at the
Sweet Caroline playing during the 7th inning stretch here at the Spoon. Argos ready to come to the plate in the bottom half of the 7th. Within striking distance, it is Montclair still on the bump for Tampa, facing off against Kirkman. Then 5 and 6 for the Argos. Kirkman sends a flare down the right side. Foul territory and will catch a break. First baseman Bragg had a beat on it. It goes off his mitt. And we will get the reprieve. Chance for Kirkman to hopefully make something of it. Lopez Sullivan to follow. UWF, we've left 6-4 in scoring position. The deficit is 4. Stranded a couple aboard in the bottom half of the 6th. Harmon Estrada got on with 2 outs. Left Harmon in scoring position. Estrada at first. Kirkman had a 2 RBI base hit to help highlight that 6-run bottom half of the 5th. 0-1 checks a swing on appeal. It will be confirmed as a ball. I don't think that was a particularly hard call. Kirkman never really committed. One delivery. And Kirkman lines on lasers one right side. Everybody all right in the seats down that first base side. 1 and 2 now. Kirkman 7 RBIs on the season. Took a base hit through the left side. Played a couple in that 5th. Oviedo, Florida native. Equaled his career high with 4 hits against Columbus State on Tuesday. The other contest in his UWF career where he had 4 hits was the first one he ever played for the Argonauts. As a freshman against Albany State, had 4 hits. Kirkman fouls a way to stay alive. 1-2 coming. Eau Claire has yet to allow a hit. A couple of strikeouts, issued a walk and HBP. Let's change that tune right here. Delivers home. In the dirt. Blocked well by Gaffney. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out, nobody aboard. Just starting the bottom half of the 7th. Argos down 10-6, being out hit 11-8. Two, pen to paper. And Kirkman takes one off the end of the bat, lasers it toward where the pitcher's bullpen catchers are hanging out for Tampa. They all have to scatter out of the way. Argos with no extra base hits in this game. Visitors have 5. 2-2 coming. Kirkman lifts, right field, charging in toward the line. Cryle might be trouble, but Cryle able to surf over and grab it. Fly 9.
Now batting, the third baseman, number 9, Robert Lopez.
The good life by Kanye playing over the PA as Robert Lopez settles in. Cleaning out the cleats here is Mauclair. He's been sharp in relief after Beck for the Spartans. Oh, this coaching staff must be pleased with what they've gotten from him. Getting out of a potentially dangerous situation. He's helped to strand 4 runners in the 5th and the 6th. Misses outside. Mark Mauclair, 6'2", 205. The junior economics major. Starts Lopez off with the ball way outside. Second is fouled back on the first base side. Last year, Eau Claire had a 6.23 earned run average. Perhaps a strike in. This season has been much kinder to him so far. He's made a leap from his sophomore year to his junior year. ERA entering play today just $1.17. Eau Claire as a freshman did hold opposing batters to a 2.19 average. Over 11 appearances, 18 innings, struck out 24. Last year made 10 appearances. This is already his 3rd of this young season. And 2-2. Mauclair fires to Lopez, swing and a miss. Mauclair, 2 up, 2 down in the bottom half of the 7th, and now it's Matt Sullivan. Argos have not scored outside of the bottom half of the 5th. Spartans scored in the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th, 5, 4, and 1 runs in those 3 innings respectively. We've now been at it for 2 hours and 51 minutes here in the finale of a doubleheader today at Jim Spooner Field. Tomorrow, right back to work at 1 p.m. We'll have the neutral game first. It'll be Spring Hill and this Tampa squad meeting at 1. Broadcast starts about 5 minutes till. And then right about 5 o'clock, we'll have West Florida battling Palm Beach. Palm Beach ran away from Spring Hill earlier in the day, 17-3, 20-plus hits in that ball game. For a Palm Beach squad that has put up a few games now this year of 10-plus runs, they can swing those bats, hitting almost 300 as a team. Sullivan can't catch up. He's at 0-2. Matt 1 for 3. 1 RBI in the game. He is going to be struck out by Mauclair. Back-to-back strikeouts for Mauclair. And that will send us on to the top half of the 8th with the score unchanged. 10-6 game. Argos trailing. Knight back to work on the hill right after this. It's the UWF Sports Network. Margaritaville by Jimmy Buffett playing between innings here at the Spoon. I think Jimmy's got a show coming to Broadway here shortly. I believe under the same name as the song that was just playing. Long life for Jimmy Buffett, many different phases, and atmosphere feeling chilled out here as we start the 8th frame. Alex Knight, East Mississippi Community College transfer, starts down with a strike. Going fishing with Stephen Smith. Knight did a good job. Inherited 2 base runners from Dylan Mills-Darwin in the 7th. Left them both by getting Golly to fly out to left. Mills-Darwin ended up facing 8. He walked 2. He struck out a pair. He gave up 1 hit. Puts together 1 2/3 of scoreless ball. Thinking about a bunt with Stephen Smith. It is ruled a strike on 1-1. It'll be 1-2. Alex Knight facing off against Smith, Earhart, Miller. Maybe Bragg here, and really pivotal top half of the 8th. Got to keep this a 4-run game. Argos fell behind 10-0, made it 10-6 in the bottom half of the 5th. Bats are going to have to get moving again. Mauclair has done a nice job in relief for the Spartans. He notched a couple of strikeouts in the 7th, part of a 1-2-3 frame. I've got him down right now for 4 strikeouts over 2 1/3 innings. We'll see if he returns in the bottom half of this 8th. I don't see anyone throwing right now, but there is a man stretching for the Spartans. 1-2. Knight to Smith. And Alex is lifted sky high right field. Estrada in a couple of steps, and he's got it. Fly 9 from the left fielder Smith. Drew Earhart, now the man on the agenda.
Now batting second baseman number 2, Drew Earhart.
Earhart right now 2 for 3, runs scored and an RBI. Darren Miller waiting on deck, has a career high 5 RBI. Nice breaking ball from Knight. (0-1) on the second baseman. The second offering down low as well. It's hit to Jones on the ground. His throw to first is wide. Heavy to come off the bag to grab it was Kirkman. Lucky just to get that one in the mitt, make sure it didn't go to the fence. Error on Jones, going to be the second error of the game for the Argo defense. One by Lopez, one by Jones. Darren Miller coming to the plate. Don't want to see him up with a man on, but that's the situation. Argos have yet to turn 2 in this game. Neither team has been able to turn a DP. Downstairs goes Knight into the dirt. 1-0. Harrison Bragg, 0 for 4, waiting on deck. He is the only Tampa Spartan who has not reached base in this ball game. 10 runs on 11 hits for them, 6 on 8 for the Argos. 7 of those hits, all 6 runs, came in the bottom half of the 5th. Bounce ball down the left side off the bat of Darren Miller. He's at 1-1. Miller 2 for 4 with a 2 RBI double and a 3-run home run. Popped out against Dylan Mills in the 6th. Foul territory with a man aboard. Knight delivers. And here's a chop ball. Strasser's going to grab. Flip to Jones. On to first. 4, 6, and 3. DP helps us to wave goodbye to the top half of the 8th. Nice job by Alex Knight. He faces the minimum. Let's go on to the southern half of the square. Branch, Jones, Dennison, 7, 8, 9 due up right after this on the UWF Sports Network. Mike Branch leads off the bottom half of the 8th, and he is facing off against a new hurler for this Tampa side. Number 26, Drew Burkhart, now on to pitch. Lanky righty fires his first, and it's upstairs. Burkhart, 6'3" sophomore, pitching in his hometown, Tampa, Florida, this season. Falls behind Branch. Let's see if maybe Branch can take advantage. Upstairs goes number 26. And Branch benefiting. This is number 26 against number 26. 2 balls, no strikes. Might be seeing something in the wheelhouse here. Argos with just 1 hit outside of that bottom half of the 5th, but in the 6th, we had an opportunity, a couple guys on with a hit by pitch and a walk. Couldn't take advantage. UWF, we've had some trouble leaving guys on base this season. We got 6 left aboard here. this evening. We got a little note passed to us. It looks like it is actually still Montclair. I thought that Tampa had brought in Burkhardt, but it is still Montclair out there on the bump. Montclair still going out there for the Spartans. And he is going to get Branch. Swing and a miss on a slider. And that is 3 straight strikeouts now for Montclair. I've got him down as striking out 4 of the last 5. Now it looks like it might be a pinch hitter for the Argos to face off against Montclair. Bryant Harris Jr. is going to come in for Matt Jones. Jones, his evening done after going 0 for 3, did commit an error as well out in the field during the top half of the 8th. Montclair against Harris Jr., the transfer from Northwest Florida State who started his collegiate career at the University of Tennessee. Montclair comes. Harris bounces it on the first side of the mound, gets to the second baseman, charging in, throw to first, and Earhart just got it to Bragg in the breath of time to catch Harris. 4-3 on the bounce out, and that will send up Mason Dennison's spot with nobody to work with on the base paths. UWF in the 6th got Harmon on with a hit by pitch, Estrada on with a walk. Since then, though, 6 straight have been retired, 4 of them via strikeout. There's been a fly out in there, and most recently the slow bounce out off the bat of the pinch hitter Harris. 10-11-1 for Tampa, 6-8-2 for UWF. Dennison going to take on the outside half. 0-1. Tip your cap to Montclair here. Came in, put a tourniquet on the bleeding for Tampa. Their pitching staff was hemorrhaging runs in the bottom half of the 5th, and Montclair was able to seal it off, keep the 4-run lead intact after the 10-run lead was slowly and rest assuredly trimmed away. LeBron Beck, Montclair have pitched this evening. Montclair now at 3 frames exactly, 1 walk, no runs, 5 strikeouts. And no hits by the relief man who sports number 24. Gets a second strike on Dennison. Harmon, the top of the order, waiting next. In the 9th, we will hope that UWF pitching, presumably Alex Knight, can hold this Spartan attack down one more time, give us a chance in the bottom half of the 9th to maybe tie or win. Runs have come in bunches in this game. Dennison now at 2-2. He's 1 for 3, has an infield single for an RBI. That came, of course, in the 5th. Two-two. And this one is down in the cellar. Just about 50 pitches on the game for Montclair. About 60% for strikes. He has ended 3 straight innings with a strikeout. Let's not let him make it 4. 3-2 to Dennison. And it's taken on the ground toward the hole at short. Getting in front, Golly fires to first, in time by a step. 6-3 on the put-away. Second straight frame facing the minimum for Montclair. We go on to the 9th. Argos still trailing 10-6 against the number 2 Tampa Spartans. This is the UWF Sports Network. Alex Knight still on the mound for the Argos as we start this ninth. Some defensive switches around him. Trevor Payne now catching for the Argos. Mason Dennison, who started the game in center field, now at short. Out in center is B.J. Harmon. Out in left, the pinch hitter from the bottom half of the eighth, Bryant Harris Jr. Still at third is Lopez. Still at first is Kirkman. Second base still Strasser. And Estrada still out in right. Alex Knight, as we said, still on the mound. Pretty good work by him. In the top half of the eighth, got the double play ball off the bat of Miller to end the frame, and now it's Bragg who steps in as the first batter of this ninth. It's 4, 5, and 6, starting with Bragg. After that, it's Servin, and then Cryle. Gaffney, if anybody reaches for this Tampa squad that has not scored since the top half of the fifth. Got one run there after scoring 9 across the third and fourth. Kuchera exited this game with a 5-0 deficit. He is still in line, I believe, for the loss. Gonzalez pitched after. He was credited with 4 runs. Evans credited with the last run. Dylan Mills-Derwin and Alex Knight, both with scoreless appearances, at least so far. Very similar to that game against Columbus State on Tuesday. The starting pitching was rocky, but as the game went along, the bullpen really helped to even the staff out. 1-2 on Bragg, who's the only Spartan who's hitless in this game. Breaking ball, mighty nasty. Check swing, goodbye. Harrison Bragg. Sliced and diced by Alex Knight, and they'll toss it around the horn behind him. 3 strikeouts in the game for Bragg. And Alex Knight gets his first strikeout of this appearance. Really nice work from the East Mississippi Community College transfer, the school made famous by the Netflix documentary Last Chance U, about the, well, somewhat legendary already East Mississippi Community College football program that captured the junior college national title once again this season. Buddy Stevens, their head coach, has coached quite a few guys who have gone on to star in major Division I programs. Chad Kelly, Bo Wallace. Think about Dakota Allen, who's coming back for a senior year, I know, at Texas Tech next season. A lot of great talent has gone through there. Swing and a miss at a nasty breaking ball. Servin's on notice. Alex Knight has thrown the ball really well this season. Summerall High School alum. Has given up just 1 run. ERA is 0.00 right now. And he'll get a bouncer to Lopez. Small leap in the air to grab it, and a perfect throw over to first. 5-3. Servin serves himself up, and now we've got Cryle on the docket. This is the 5th appearance this season for Alex Knight. Came into play today with 4 2/3 under his belt, just 2 hits, 1 run unearned. 8 strikeouts against 2 walks. He's had 1 man board. That was in the 8th. It wasn't his fault. An error by Jones at short. And Knight turned right around and induced a double play, 4-6-3 variety, only of the game, to erase that. 1-0 on the season. Picked up a W against Rollins, game 2 of the doubleheader, went 1 2/3, 2 hits, 1 run. 2 walks, 2 strikeouts for Mr. Knight. 0-1 on Cryle, who's reached base 3 times. 1 hit, a walk, fielder's choice. He's also struck out. Outside, Mrs. Knight. We will see if the fellas from Tampa stick with Mo Claire, who's been pretty much automatic as their second reliever, third pitcher of the game in the 9th. Knight comes, and it's downstairs in the dirt. And 2 balls and a strike against Cryle. Gaffney maybe wants one more try, at least in regular play. We'll try to bridge a gap that's still 4 runs, where it's been since we put up 6 in the bottom half of the 5th. No one has scored since. Both teams do look a little bit wearied, a little bit run down. 3 hours and 12 minutes of baseball will do that to you. Here's a shot on the ground on 2-2, fielded by Kirkman, and the first baseman takes it himself. 3 unassisted. Great work by Alex Knight. He has faced 7 over 2 1/3, the minimum, without allowing a hit. He got his first strikeout against the first batter of the top half of the ninth. Goes 1-2-3. We go to the bottom half. Argos with the top of the order, due up, trying to bridge a 10-6 deficit right after this. You're on GoArgos.com and the UWF Sports Network.
Download the mobile app by searching.
Well, it's Mauclair's to try to finish off. 24 back on the bump once again for the Tampa Spartans. He'll face off against the top of the order for the Argos. Rally time here at the Spoon, down by 4. Harmon, Estrada, Strasser guaranteed to see at least one more at-bat. Corners in. Harmon was thinking bunt in his first at-bat of the game before he ended up striking out, and here he's going to get a hit by pitch. Mauclair, gotta admit, he's looked a little bit shakier. Perhaps over the last inning or two than 6 up, 6 down, and those 2 innings might imply. Argos have threatened against him, but just haven't been able to board. We've put together a couple of good at-bats in that stretch. The HBP here puts Harmon aboard. Now it's going to be Estrada. Estrada taking down in the cellar on the first, 1-0. There's a man getting loose in the pen right now for Tampa. Looks like a righty. Mauclair's pitch count is up there as you'd expect. 3+ innings. About 55 pitches for the game. Tosses to first, a little bit high with it, but Bragg able to glove. LeBron fired 83 pitches. Beck threw just 6, and Mauclair's been pitching since that bottom half of the 5th. Now in the mid-50s. 60% for strikes. This is the longest game of the year for the Argos. Previously played a 3-hour, 13-minute affair against the Florida Southern Mocs on February 2nd. That was just a 4-2 game, and it went 3 hours and 13 minutes. Much different tonight with 16 runs between these two teams. Time of game right now, 3:16. 1-1. Estrada thinking bunt. Falls away from the bat. It'll be 1-2. Strasser on deck has been on twice. Estrada has been on 3 times. Harmon has now been on 4 times. Top 3 in the order. Set the table nicely. 9 times reaching for that trio at the top of the card. Big lead at first for Harmon. Breaking ball, though, to Estrada. Punching him away, Mauclair. Mauclair now with 6 strikeouts. That's more than the starter LeBron had. He had 4. 10 strikeouts tonight for the Tampa Spartans. Mauclair, because the starter did not go 5, I think is going to pick up the win if Tampa does go ahead and secure this. In line for his first loss is Kuchera. Getting it past Strasser, Mauclair. The win would be the first of the season for Mark, the Strawberry Crest High School alum. 0-1 on Strasser. We still have a ways to go here. Kirkman on deck. And Strasser sends a liner right side, gloved by the second baseman, throw to first. And it is a double play to end the game. Earhart to Bragg, L4-3. Bad luck, that low line. Snared by Earhart just off to his left. And that is the ball game. Tampa, they improved to 5-2. Argos dropped to 2-5. Win is going to go to Mauclair. His first loss is Kuchera's first. We'll take a break of just 2 or 3 minutes, then come back to clean it up and wrap it up right after this on GoArgos.com and the UWF Sports Network. A long day of baseball done here at Jim Spooner Field in Pensacola, Florida. Argos fall in this one to number 2 Tampa. Final score of 10-6. Argos fell behind 10-0 after 4.5 innings. Battled back in the bottom half of the fifth. Scored 6 runs there to make it 10-6. But could not score after that. Credit Mauclair with his first win. Credit Kuchera with his first loss. Tony started this ball game by putting away the first 6 that he faced. Kuchera looked really sharp over those first 2 innings, and then in the third, this Tampa offense came to life. They tagged him for a total of 5 runs in the third. They batted all 9 in that third, and then added 4 more runs against his relief man Gonzalez in the fourth. They tacked on 1 more against Chase Evans in the fifth, and that would be plenty for a Tampa team that does improve to 5-2 with the W here this evening. It was, as we said, a good start for Kuchera, but ran into trouble in the third. After that, it was Gonzalez and Evans. They did all right. Gonzalez struggled, but Evans did all right. And then Dylan Mills, Darwin, and Alex Knight did a nice job to conclude this game. Dylan Mills, 1 2/3 of scoreless ball. Alex Knight with 2 1/3 of scoreless ball. Good work by both of them. Argo offense, as we said, in the bottom half of the fifth, really great performance. 6 runs on 7 hits, but outside of that, we only had 1 hit and no runs other than that bottom half of the fifth. Looked like we might be able to come back. Kirkman had a couple of RBIs in that inning. Strasser had himself an RBI. Argos were all over the base paths against David Lebron, who pitched real well through the first 4 innings, and then he ran into trouble in the fifth. Got the first 2 outs against the first 3 batters he faced. Argos put on a parade against him. Lebron was just 1 out away from getting in line for the win. He couldn't do it. He came out in favor of Tyler Beck. Beck was tagged a little bit by the Argo offense, and he ended up exiting the game real quick. That was when Mauclair took over. 4 1/3 innings, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts, and no hits against Mauclair. He faced 15, and again, he does improve to 1-0 on the season. To 1-1 on the season. Gets his first win by throwing 59 pitches, 38 for strikes. I had the official time of game at 3 hours and 17 minutes, longest game of the season for the West Florida Argonauts, and it will be a quick turnaround. We'll be back to work tomorrow evening here at the Argo Invitational. We'll start the day with the neutral game. That'll be Tampa, so an even quicker turnaround for them at 1 p.m. versus Spring Hill, and then it'll be the Argos and Palm Beach Atlantic at 5 right here at Jim Spooner Field. Remember, on Sunday, it's Palm Beach versus Tampa at 11, and then the Argos against Spring Hill at 3. We'll have the live broadcast for you tomorrow starting at about 12:55. Make sure you tune in at GoArgos.com/live. Until then, Joey Zanaboni saying good night from Pensacola, Florida, where the Argonauts fall 10-6 in the evening game after Palm Beach down Spring Hill 17-3 in the afternoon game. So long, folks. We'll catch you tomorrow afternoon.